Welcome everyone, Tactical H here, and we are live. Hummus Boy has abandoned us. The totally not a human person. Yeah. Wait, no, totally not a Skaven person. Yeah, just took off and decided to go play Skyrim and freaking League of Legends. So, to take over this empty throne, I'm gonna usurp his new player tournament, Land Battles event. So here we are, casting the tournament with a few very promising new players. Let me just up that army blocker, and we'll be checking out some of these greener players showcase. Anyways, we are jumping in. We are jumping in with the first battle between Koala Duck from the Extreme Meme team and Dr. Nerdgash. I'm not sure what is that clan, but DGK, I guess. But anyways, we are gonna check out this first battle. Sorry for the brackets at the bottom there, because I still haven't changed it up ever since we showcased Central Scrutinizer and its current year's best of 5. So Dr. Nerdgash. Well, he's not Dr. Nerdgash. That is just an in-game name. He is actually Dr. Nerd. Yep. Let me just Dr. Nerd. Every battle is gonna be a best of 3 between the two relatively new players. They are still in the Rat Ogre's role and in the Help It channel of Human Boys Discord. Now, Koala Duck. No. Nobody has played anything yet. And we shall wait for them to show us their builds, their strategies, their skills. Pretty exciting stuff. Wait, shit, where's my phone at? Oh, give me a second. Alright, we are ready. We just need to let them I just need to check their armies here. Norsca versus Skaven? Oh, this might be rough for the Skavens. As you might have seen from Human Boy's content, Skaven's missiles are kind of weak right now with all those poison globes not shooting at all. But we shall see. Like, they might shoot or they might not shoot. We don't know. We honestly don't know. Norsca does have, I do think Norsca does have an advantage here with the mammoths easily plowing through any Skaven frontline and getting on top of the weapons teams. Of course, those weapons teams and artillery can still make short work of the big monstrous beasties and whatnot. But the Skavens do have the Norscans do have a very promising way to just bum rush them, especially given how strong Familiar Warriors are right now. They might not be the beast they used to be when they still have anti-large, but I do think that Familiar Warriors can be pretty good in this matchup. Due to their 45% missile resistance when they have high leadership. But yeah. Now one thing I do think that the Norscans' sheer regeneration can help them tank out this fight. Like, basically you just throw in 2 Familiar Warriors to bust through the front line, and then at the back line they'll use a bunch of Hounds and Skin Wolves just to run over any Skaven slaves, Rat Ogres that tries to stop them. They just get punched hard and a bit of a burning head and everything's gonna be dead. But let's see if the two players are gonna bring what I'm thinking they're gonna bring. As for the Skavens there, Jezzails can be very good, but Jezzails are well, Jezzails can be good at sniping things from afar, but in this matchup, it is pretty damn sure that the Skavens are gonna get bum rushed by the Norscans. So having a slow damaging, like, Jezzails are good, but their damage output are kind of slow. They can accumulate good damage over time, but whether the Norscans would give them the time to dish out that pain, that is the real question. And I don't think Norscan has that kind of would give them that kind of leisure to do so. So Skavens might need something a little bit more short range, or perhaps if they are crazy enough, go for a Skaven rush. Just spam, I don't know, Storm Vermins with Halberds plus a bunch of Ashen Triads. I love those Ashen Triads, but they're gonna get cut down by Marauders whatnot. So we shall see. There's just no there's no 100% in anything here, so we shall see. But yeah, it is interesting picks coming up from both teams so far. Those are some interesting picks for sure. I did not expect some picks like that, but okay. Okay. We shall see. I mean, I obviously can't say what they're picking, but these are definitely interesting picks. Perhaps it's actually refreshing to see these units on the field. But yeah, like usually I cast players that have been around for a long time, and they usually are picking things that are very optimized and have a long track record of proving what is good and what is not good. But both players had some pretty damn interesting stuff. Okay, I'm looking at the Norscan build and be like, yep, this Norscan player, Koala Duck here, definitely saw some videos on YouTube. I'm not gonna say which one, but you might be able to guess it. But yeah, this is okay. But yeah, it's like I can't really. Oh, rules clarification. Give me a second there. Give me a second. Just need to like reply to some Discord. And let them just to make sure everyone's like picking and banning the right. Yeah, picking and banning the right things. But yeah, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Yeah, just check out my stuff. I do a lot of multiplayer content in general. Very occasionally do a little bit of non-Warhammer content, but mostly for Warhammer focus. If you're a new player, then yeah, you're in the right place to get some tips and strategies and whatnot. Like, I'm not the best player here, but I do try to come up with ideas to go up against the better players in the community right now. All right, let's see. Let's have a check. Let's have a look at the chat. Fat Kidder says, personally, I hope for Death and Fire. Death and Fire would be good into Skavens, given how they don't have any healing. But okay, let me just unblock the armies. And you might see why I'm saying the Norscan player Koala Duck here have checked out some new videos. Because he is bringing double Frostworm, and guess who did a video on double Frostworm? Tough place. But yeah, it's a pretty good like combo. I like it. I actually like it, using the breath attacks instead of just trying to dumpster the dragon into a fight, because I used that against a tournament battle against Cool Umbrella, and it worked well. It was still like a battle against like Dwarfs, so it's not the most mobile faction to deal with flying dragon, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's like the breath attack does a lot of good damage. It has enough mass and armor piercing to just run through the dwarf lines and get on top of the thunders, the iron drakes and whatnot. Just chew through enemies' missile units, even if they're armored. So yeah, the Frostworms can be pretty good. Now for the rest of the army here, a front line of Marauder Berserkers mixed in with a shit ton of Marauder infantry in general, and then a bunch of Norscan Ice Wolves, providing a bit more weapon strength than the Warhounds, plus the Frostbite effect can be great at slowing down enemy units and just chewing them up afterwards. Skin Wolves on each flank, and that's it for the main army here. Leading the army, we have a Shaman Sorcerer of Fire coming in with only Burning Head and Fireball, while Wolfric the Wanderer coming in with only his boat. No doubt just trying to spam those area of effect damage and blast through the Skaven front line. Now the Skavens here are going for a classic box formation, a front line of Clan Rats and a second line of Ashen Triads. Now that's interesting, because I wouldn't, like, I did jokingly said you can take Ashen Triads, but against, against Norscan, this is the best idea. A really bad idea because their stuff good. Like, their stuff are really good at doing damage up close and personal, and the Ashen Triads doesn't have the most armor or melee defense and will be taking a lot of damage if they're engaging those Marauders, or even just getting charged by the Ice Wolves from the back. For the missile core, we have 2 Poison Wing Globadiers. They are probably gonna struggle on shooting, while at the back there 3 Poison Wing Globadiers and 2 Rattling Guns. One Gatling on each flank. Further back there, more... Wait, what? How many Ashen Triads are there? 5 Ashen Triads! This mad lad, the Doctor Nerd, what are you doing? Even I don't dare to bring in 5 Ashen Triads. Oh, wait, is that... Wait, 5 Ashen Triads? I don't think you can bring 5 in Fruit Rules. Like, I believe we're using Fruit Rules, and yeah, I don't think you can... Wait, you can bring 5 of those in Fruit Rules. Okay, never mind, my bad. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyways, army has begun. The battle has begun. Ikit Claw taken some damage using the unlimited power already. Ugh. Unlimited power, but that probably caused a miscast. Anyways, took some damage, but nothing too substantial yet. Shit. Did I just catch a bug? Nope. Okay, never mind. Rattling Guns opening up at Marauders, doing very minuscule damage, and now they're just weirdly shifting forward, trying to get a good aim at their opponent. Oh, well, it's the bug. The bug is still there. Where they just suddenly turn around and doesn't shoot. Fuck. C8! What the hell, man? Or are they turning around just to ready to shoot up? I don't know. Anyways, right now, the Rattling Guns are taking a lot of damage. Like, took a lot of damage from the breath attack, I assume. Yep. But right now, with the Ice Wolves sacrificing themselves, jumping on top of the Rattling Gun, they have silenced the Rattling Guns, buying time for the Frostworm to survive this onslaught. While the Rattling Guns over here are swarmed by another unit of Warhounds. All these missiles here, there are just not enough Skaven bodies to deal with all those. Ooh, look at the nasty charge from the Skin Wolves. They're nuking 1/3 of the HP from the Ashen Triads, and now they're just barely standing back up and start hacking down the Skin Wolves, who are receiving a Weeping Blade debuff from the Ashen Triads, but they don't have the most armor, so that doesn't really matter. While the front line here getting roasted by a massive burning head, while all the Skaven missiles are mostly compromised. The Poison Wing Globadiers are now shooting at the Norscan Ice Wolves, and some of these Skin Wolves have taken a lot of damage, being hit up by the anti-large Ashen Triads, but that is just not enough. Ikit Claw dropping in a Flancing Ruin, draining away the health of the Frostworm, which is pretty good. Like, the Skin Wolves got hit too, so doing some pretty good damage. But right now, the Skavens are pretty far behind on the balance of power. The Council Guard will fight to their death, but I don't know if that is going to be enough. Especially, they're going to get hit up by their own Poison Wing Globadier's friendly fire. So yeah, sad times indeed. On the far side, Brass Orb nuking some of these Marauders while the Ashen Triads are still fighting, but the Berserkers, once they start engaging the Ashen Triads, they will make short work of these rather glass cannon Guandao infantry. Ikit Claw is still there, just fighting fine, I guess, but the rest of the army not so much. The Poison Wing Globadiers got munched on by the Frostworm. Another Frostworm comes in, but this time just blasting the other Poison Wing Globadiers, who are hitting up the other Frostworm with the Poison Wind Globes, and yeah. We might have unlocked a new meta of Norscans, boys. The double Frostworm meta, where you're not supposed to use it in melee attacks, because they are shit in melee attack. But their breath attacks are pretty dang good. So yeah, the double Frostworm is in play now. Anyways, Burning Hell on top of some of these Ashen Triads, roasting them, and should be able to put them into a rout with that burnt leadership debuff. Actually, more damage coming in from something. Not sure what, but they are definitely taking a lot of damage and are going to be routed. Ashen Triads on the side are still fighting. They are indeed some of the more elite leadership in terms of like Skavens having 64 leadership. It's not bad. It's not that bad for a Skaven. Clan Reds has like what 40 something? Yeah, base value is like 45. So they are pretty dang elite as far as the Skaven goes. So yeah, the Skavens are now basically broken off entirely, leaving only the Council Guard somewhere. Oh yeah, the last of the Council Guard is still here, having 3 unit models left, being run over by everything. A little bit of breath attack probably did more friendly fire than killing any Council Guard. The last one set Skaven still fighting, but getting plowed by the getting plowed by the Frostworm, just flying away. It died, and so is the hopes of Skavens. Okay, so we have Koala Duck getting the first win of today. And yeah, pretty good start so far. Pretty good action. I do think that Skavens are not great into Norscan, so yeah, this is pretty sad times. Anyways, the double Frostworms dominated the fight. There's just not enough stuff to deal with them when all the Skaven backlines were compromised by the spam of Ice Wolves, who let the dogs out. I actually have not listened to the song, so I don't know how to sing it, but I know the meme. Anyway, Skin Wolves ran over everything else at the back as well. Those charges, man, just run through those Ashen Triads. Yeah, they have physical resistance, but that's not going to be enough with their shitty armor. Marauders, yeah, they're pretty meh. They don't really need to do much here because the Berserkers were doing all the job here. We're doing all the work. Just grind through all the Skaven, Slaves, Clan Rats, actually just Clan Rats. Grind through all the Clan Rats and Ashen Triads, gaining insane value. So yeah, pretty sad times. It's not even the Burning Head, really. It's just like the spam of breath attacks and just Berserkers buzzsawing their way through all these poor Clan Rats. Poison Wing Globadiers, they did great today. Actually shot and it hit stuff and drained away their health, but Ashen Triads, as I said, they are just too fragile against a dedicated rush faction like the Norscans. And yeah, let me just put up the army blocker again. The rest of the army didn't really do too much here. Council Guard just kind of got blasted up by their own friendly fire of Poison Wind. Well, Ikiclaw not doing too much damage. Had some Cleansing Ruin, but that's about it. So, we are going to move on to the next battle, where Dr. Nagash is being a Nagash fanboy, picking up the Tomb Kings. I assume it's going to be Arcane the Black as well, being pretty much the only lord you would take with the Tomb Kings. So we shall see. Alright, let's catch up with the chat while we're just kind of waiting for the players. Ante Vojovic, you will see chaos next round, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. No favorites here as long as chaos wins in the end and occasionally rock and stone. Perhaps. Who wants a dwarf fight? Who actually wants a dwarf fight with their static play style? I guess Saber's Ragnum, but he's not here. But yeah, Rock and Stone, my friend, Rock and Stone. Skavens and Norscans are both Chaos affiliates. They are indeed. Mr. Teufel, we shall push the Elven Coup brothers? No. This is an undead channel, so we're gonna push the Ogre Kingdom's coup. What do you mean? Which sounds very ironic, but yeah. For some reason, I'm not maining undead, despite calling myself Tactical Lich. Instead, I'm going for Ogre Kingdoms, which is pretty much one of the livelier factions in the entire game, with their whole faction focusing on eat, and eat. Just gotta eat to live and live to eat. The glorious Azur will cleanse this vermin scum from the Under Empire. Nah, we're just gonna eat them up as the ogres. Hey, Crow, nice to see you again. And indeed, we had a pretty good Norscan game. Rocket Rope. Hey man, good to see you here, and I thank you for picking all the maps and saving me the headache For those who don't know, Rocket Road provided the map list for today's tournament. I always had a hard time figuring out map choices over tournament, so very kindly Rocket Road decided to reach out to me and offer me to make maps. So yeah, basically we had the map set by him because I never bothered to remember the nuances of each map. So I actually just know the most popular few map. Yeah, the few map choices. But yeah, if anyone missed out on this tournament but still want to join in the future, just stay put and join tournament. Join the Discord of Human Boy Yes Yes, which I believe is in. Wait, it's not in the video description. Ah, damn it. It's the Discord link is, I believe, is in the challenge link, which is in the description. So, and you get that one way or the other. So yeah, join his Discord and keep an get that Rat Ogre role in the server, and just keep an eye out on new tournament announcements. Because if I believe, if I remember correctly, Human Boy SS will return soon. And start making Warhammer content again. I'm just taking over when he's abandoning us for the freaking League of Legends. But yeah, just join his Discord, get that Rat Ogre role, and stay put and wait for announcements. Because Human Boy SS does host new player tournaments on a weekly basis. I don't know if he's still gonna do it next week, considering we do have the next patch coming out soonish by the end of this month, so we shall see. Anyways, it seems that we have a Wood Elves versus Tomb Kings battle here. We shall see. This is a weird matchup. I don't usually like this. I don't usually play this matchup because Wood Elves are kind of shit these days, but this can be good for the Wood Elves because they do have some really good tools to deal with the Tomb Kings here, especially Starfire Shafts and Prey of Anathema. That can be a very lethal combo to pin down any Tomb Kings monstrosities and just shoot them up in their face. But we shall see what the two players are gonna bring here. But yeah, I do think that the Tomb King's best bet here is just to spam Carol Horseman and Skeleton Horseman, because they are some very cheap and cost-effective mobility, especially Carol Horseman having pretty solid stats overall. They should be able to beat down Glade Riders and trade decently into the more expensive Wild Riders, or even something like Great Stag Knights if they get the right support. But we shall see. Now, of course, Tomb Kings do have to be aware of any area of effect spells like Pit of Shades to nuke down their Skeleton Chaff. But most importantly, I do think that Dryads can trade well into Skeleton Chaff. So that the whole infantry department is kind of sorted out for the Wood Elves. But the thing is that the Wood Elves are going not with Dryads, but with freaking War Dances. What is happening today? We are seeing some niche builds. Grand Hierophant Katep as well, just to limit enemies' spellcast ability, which can be pretty good against Wood Elves, who are a pretty strong spellcasting faction overall. Let me just shift this a bit and okay, there we go. So, army builds. 3 War Dances. This is an interesting choice here. Supported by a ton of Glade Riders, Glade Gods with a Starfire Shaft, 4 Glade Riders with Spears, and a line of Eternal Gods with Shields. And then we have a Spellsinger of Beast at the back there, coming with only Flock of Doom and Ember Spear for all those for those damage dealing capacity. Orion here, a rather tanky lord with Hounds of Orion and Hulk's Talon for all those AoE damage. And of course his Cloak of Isha. Always bring that when you're playing Orion, because that's his entire tankiness comes from. Anyways, we have on the skeleton side, the Tomb King side, a front line of skeleton spears backed up by a bunch of skeleton warriors, just trying to go for a numbers approach and slow down the advance of the Wood Elves, while we also have a couple artillery support, the Screaming Skull catapults, and also a single Eyes of the Desert in case they need to kill some trees. Now, on the flanks there, Nekara Horsemen, 4 of them, in fact, they do trade well. As I said, they do trade well into any light mobility, and should be a pretty good choice, considering that there is a Grand Hierophant Katap here, providing physical resistance and weapon strength buffs. There's also the Osirian's Incantation of Vengeance, which can kill it can kill units with a high model count pretty effectively. So yeah, some pretty good spells and abilities on both sides. Oh, there's also a Bone Giant, which is supported by a Kepler Guard right at the back there. Kepler Guard is just so good in the current meta right now, with healing being broken and all that. Screaming Skulls would be opening up. Their damage should be decent. Ooh, that is a nasty hit on the War Dancers. They need to turn on their Woven's Mist to just get those missile resistance and tank the damage. And indeed, they are doing it. Now they have 40% missile resistance. Of course, they can't really use their physical resistance against the magical ammo of the Screaming Skulls, but that is still better than just eating so much damage from the magical artillery. On the flanks, their Glade Riders charging into the Nekara Horsemen, doing some pretty good damage on the charge, probably because the Nekara Horsemen didn't have a charge order. Like, they didn't do any damage on impact. But over a long grind, they should be able to win out against the Glade Riders. Now the Starfire Shafts are nuking the Bone Giant. Oh god, the pain! It just hurts so much. Anyways, War Dancers are moving in as the line of skeleton spears are just holding back the tide of Eternal Gods. They don't have to worry about wind spells because the Wood Elves don't really have a wind spell if they are not bringing a Lore of Shadows. And the Bone Giant is just getting absolutely smacked, shot to pieces, pin cushioned by all those armor-piercing missiles, and yeah, it's pretty much mostly dead. War Dancers are moving on to the Skeleton Warriors. Definitely a mistake here. Probably should just jump straight forward towards the... Yeah, just jump straight on top of those Screaming Skulls. But at least Bone Giant is dead, or soon to be dead. Yeah, with so much like shots coming in, they're just kind of dead. Anyways, the Necro Horsemen still grinding through the Glade Gods. Actually, I predicted wrongly. The Glade Gods are out trading the Necro Horsemen. I do think that the Glade Gods have a charge order on the Necro Horsemen, and the Necro Horsemen didn't have it the other way around. Yeah. Anyways, the Tomb King struggling to bust through the Eternal God front line, while everything else is just getting shot up and cut down by the Wood Elves, and a balance of power is in the favor of the Wood Elves already. And this might be a 2-0 for Koala Duck, 2-0 victory for Koala Duck here, as the Tomb King's front line are faltering, and there is a lack of anything to deal with the Starfire Shafts for now. I do think that going for artillery is a mistake on Dr. Nerd's end. As I said, I would recommend a rush build instead of like sitting back with all these monstrous artillery or just simply artillery, because Wood Elves can disrupt all these artillery pretty well. Instead, you need to like constantly pressure them with whatever you've got, like with numbers or with mobility, or with numbers and mobility. Right now, the Starfire Shafts are just freely firing at whatever they can find they can get a angle on, and these poor Eyes of the Desert are just falling victim. And the Necro Horsemen definitely got ran over and kind of just died. Anyways, these guys managed to out-trade the Glade Riders, but they are trying to pull out of the fight, so the Glade Riders are able to just run them, chase at them from behind. Now, they are trying to pull this game back, but I don't see how they can finish off Orion at that point. Without the Eyes of Desert, I don't see how the Tomb Kings can deal with Orion without the kind of burst damage. Yeah, there are some Glade Riders with spears running into them, and they should be able to just tie them down while the Starfire Shafts can finish the job. But no, it seems that the Starfire Shafts decided to shoot at the little blob here. Not sure what they're doing, but right now the Tomb Kings are trying to make a comeback here, pushing off some of these archers finally, but the summon Usurping is gonna be disappearing in 15 seconds. Another Hawk's Talon dropping in on top of some overlapped skeleton spears, and Kepler Guard should do some good damage. You can see that there's a dent in the Kepler Guard's HP pool. But the Kepler Guards, surprising enough, they can actually trade well into the War Dancers, especially the War Dancers forgetting to turn off the Woven Mist. They now have 24 less melee defense, making them a lot more susceptible to damage, while the Kepler Guard does have healing to sustain themselves, but the War Dancers do not, and the Kepler Guard has anti-infantry and magic damage. So they can actually punch back at the War Dancers, who rely so much on their melee defense and physical resistance. So, yeah, the War Dancers are suffering right now. Another Glade Gods are being shut down as Katap jumps in, stops them from firing, and yeah, and the Eyes of Desert finish the job. But yeah, there might just be too many Wood Elves for the Tomb Kings to deal with right now. At least a lot of the Wood Elf units are being routed. Oh, that is a gutsy play. Charging in the Eyes of Desert, trying to induce the leadership penalty from the rear charging attack. Exposed by flank frightened by enemy units, and friends routing exhaustion, and all that attacked in the rear minus 14 leadership, trying to rout off those Eternal Gods. But this might just not be working, as now the Eternal Gods are moving in, trying to poke them down with the anti-large spears. Now the Eyes of Desert are now getting hunted by Orion and the Eternal Gods. This is bad. This is bad. Once the Eyes of the Desert goes down, there is nothing the Tomb Kings can do to deal with Orion. And Orion himself can grind through everything that the Tomb Kings have in the back here. Especially with there's still 2 more Glade Gods coming back. Having that armor-piercing missiles in the late game is so very key. While Orion still continues to hit hard, just dragging down the Eyes of Desert from behind with the help of the Eternal Gods. Orion is fast enough to catch up, but yeah, at this point, Tomb Kings decided to forfeit, as there is little hopes for them to pull back this game. So yeah, GG to Koala Duck for winning this best of 3 match and advancing in the tournament. Now we shall go back to the we shall go back to the challenge page and get the next battle going. I believe a lot of players are probably still playing, so okay. I'm just gonna wait a bit. Anyways, let's look at the army performances here. War Dancers just blended through those skeletons, no questions asked. They did forget to turn off the Woven Mist and switch the stance back. So that was a mistake. Could have, yeah, they could have suffered less damage with a little bit more melee defense, but well. Anyways, the Starfire Shafts did really good damage, shutting down the Bone Giants and the Sepulchral Stalkers, and probably shooting up some of the Screaming Skull Catapults as well. The Glade Riders somehow managed to trade well into the Nekara Horsemen. Usually they don't really trade well, but either ways they did. And Eternal Gods dragged down stuff, I guess. They didn't really do that much damage, being overwhelmed by skeletons and whatnot, mostly being cut down by Kepler Guard as well. But yeah, Orion is just such a tank. He's just chatting through damage with his physical resistance, and then in the late game he can just use his Cloak of Isha to sustain himself. But yeah, mostly it's just damage done by the Glade Gods, shutting down the key units of the Tomb King's army. Bone Giant and the Eyes of Desert all took a significant amount of damage from the focus fire of the armor piercing. Kepler Guard did some good damage, but in the end just got whittled down by the War Dancers and whatnot. Skeleton Cavalry, and yeah, the Skeleton Cavalry, these two probably didn't get a charge order on the Glade Gods and got caught. not doing much damage as a result. Like if they actually got a charge order, even if they don't win straight up in a fight against the Glade Gods, they will still do some pretty good and noticeable damage on the charge, but they didn't, so I assume they didn't get the charge order. But yeah, the other two did okay. But the rest of the skeleton infantry, they're kind of just skeletons. They're being cut down by all those war dances, so not much to say about them. But yeah, that's it. Katab didn't do much damage either. Like, I guess he could have used his direct damage spell on some of these war dances. It would be good, actually, bypassing that physical resistance. Okay, let's see who's next. Next up would be Koala Duck versus the Plap. I'm not sure if I want to cast this battle yet, cause I'm actually okay. Never mind. I'll just cast this one, cause the other best of threes are still going on. Bavret and Kaiwan. And Mighty Makil versus Swine. Wait, where's the Plap? Okay. Koala Duck is online, the Plap is online, we're good. Okay, well, we might just be witnessing Koala Duck conquering this tournament this time, because the other semifinals is not ready, so we can just jump over there. Yeah, we'll just turn on the army blocker again. Koala Duck is still there. We will switch it to... But yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Anyways, GG to both Koala Duck and Dr. Nerd. Dr. Nerd put up a good fight, just that I do think he can improve his army builds a bit there. And, yep. Looking forward to see him next time in another tournament. I mean Dr. Nerd, that is. Now we are going to have a battle between Koala Duck and the Plap. It's not the Plap, it's the Plap. So yeah, just make sure you're not saying that name wrong. XMT Dragonborn. Oh, you're Koala Duck. Okay. Katab was a pain. He is indeed. Keep putting spells on cooldown. That's why it's like the two best lords right now for Tomb Kings is one, Arcane the Black because of Lore of Death and Skeleton Summon, and also his Libra Mortis. And the other one is Katab because of his Lich Staff spam, cooldown debuff spam. So yeah. Anyways, let's see how this is gonna play out. We have Ooh, Bavrat has finished their battles, I assume. Yeah, we can. Looks like we're gonna have some replays after this. Yeah, cause like whoever's game isn't getting streamed, just feel free to like send. Like if you're a tournament player, I hope you're not watching this entire time. But if you're playing against another opponent, but yeah, if you're playing in the battle that I'm streaming, you shouldn't be watching my stream. But if you're not, like, feel free to just drop by. And if your battles are not streamed, feel free to just drop those replay files in like in my DMs or in Discord, just somewhere, I guess. I'll pick them up and just cast them right after I'm done with this tournament, like as in the live stream of the tournament. But yeah, let me just check some stuff. Okay, good. Anyways, the two players are picking. I assume they're just kind of like picking, spending some time contemplating their army choices. But yeah, not much to do right now. Just waiting on them, deciding. Oh shit! I need to sleep earlier these days. Like, I don't know if you have this kind of experience, but sometimes I try to sleep 8 hours, but I usually end up just only 8, and I still like just kind of waking up. But yeah, like like honestly, I've been playing a lot of other games lately, and not a lot of Total Warhammer. Just kind of biding my time for the DLC. Like, I don't want to burn myself out on like playing only one game, right? So I just kind of switch between different games these days. Recently, I'm playing a pretty nice like town builder game called, wait, what is it called? Airborne Kingdom, I think. Let me check. It's on Game Pass, so like yeah, the Airborne Kingdom. It's pretty good. Like, it's you kind of just build a floating, an aerial, yeah, a big fucking airship town thingy, I guess. And you kind of collect resources as you go. It's quite strategy focused, I guess. But it's not really like war strategy, but just more like resource management, and yeah, resource management and route planning. And I found like a new strategy game called Toys Tactics as well. Might do some videos next week or something, or like just do a stream or something. I don't know, maybe to showcase it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. But yeah, it's have they picked? Okay, we have Koala Duck going Chaos Dwarfs, the Plab going Bretonnia. Ooh, the two OP factions going up against each other. Oh, maybe Chaos Dwarfs, maybe not so much, but Bretonnia, man. Bretonnia, man, Bretonnia. Chaos Dwarfs are gonna get rolled over. Well, we shall see. Actually, we don't know. Perhaps, just maybe, just maybe we might see Death Freaker rocket launchers. Maybe. Wait, I didn't like these two. These two factions both have special army limits here. Give me a second. Okay, making sure that nobody's like breaking any rules here with the army picks. Just making sure. I don't know if these are good picks or bad picks, actually. Okay. Right. Sorry, I was just checking my phone there. Okay, so the Chaos Dwarfs are picking, the Bretonnians are picking, but not much is going on. Hey, Leech, you also did Brad, you scum! You French scum! What are you doing here? Kaelin, I feel violated. Getting lance formation, penetrating the back lines is it's a painful experience for sure. Phoenix King, hello, Mr. Calculated Undead Priest. Greetings, the Dwarf Hater. Greetings, the Dwarf Hater. Oh, it seems that both players have made their picks, and it's another game of spicy picks. Oof. Spicy picks! We have freaking hobgoblins! Why? I don't even know why. They're just gonna get rolled over by Bretonnia and Cav, but apparently they are a thing. Hobgoblins plus a shit ton of slaves. We have... I actually saw a Skullcracker earlier, but I guess Koala Duck decided not to bring it. And instead we have a freaking Kadai Destroyer. Kadai Destroyers and 3 great weapons. 3 great weapons. 3 great weapons, Bull Centaurs. Yeah, Bull Centaurs. 3 of them great weapons. A ton of Orc Laborers, a ton of Goblin Laborers, Hobgoblin, Cutthroats. Well, yeah, it is Cutthroats. Anyways, Sorcerer Prophet of Death. And making sure I don't have any other tabs open that drains my memory. I don't think so. Okay. Because we have like a few seconds of lag there, but okay. Anyways, leading the army, Sorcerer Prophet of Death, coming in with only Fate of Buna. Only Fate of Buna. He's really trying to nuke down those knights with the spell. Anyways, on the other side here, we have... Wait, what? The Sorcerer Prophet of Death has immune to... Oh, I know. That's King... Okay, never mind. I'll talk about it later. Okay, for the Bretonnians, they are boxing hard. Spear... Yep, I have the army blocker down. Okay. Spear, men-at-arms with shields, and men-at-arms with polearms, forming a kind of a box with 3 peasant bows. This feels like a campaign formation here with like. Anyways, I'll talk about it later. If you're a new player, then no offense, but this is kind of campaigny. Anyways, 2 peasant mobs in the front and 2 Grail. Wait. Okay, Knights of the Realm and a Grail Knights on one flank. Both 2 Knights of the Realm on the other. King Luan leading the army, supported by a Damsel of Life Magic. Questionable choice. Actually, no. That's yeah. Questionable choice of formations. I mean, but yeah. Like the reason why I'm saying this is a campaign formation is that normally in land battles multiplayer. Oh wait, there's some spicy pics of mounted human archers on the side. I didn't cover them. Anyways, you see these kind of blocky formations that you basically only see in single player, because blocky formation means that they are more susceptible to artillery fire damage. Like artillery fire, more susceptible to missile damage, more susceptible to spells and whatnot. So, if you want to like try to spread out your formation as wide as possible. Right now, being blocky means that a breath attack from the Sorcerer Prophet of Death can be quite devastating. On the side there, the Orc Laborers are deployed way out of... Wait, why are they so out of position? Anyways, Knights of the Realm charge in, and they're getting charged by the Bull Centaurs, getting freaking wrecked. Okay, never mind. They're dead for sure. Sorcerer Prophet of Death was taking a fight against King Luan and Kerr, but like he's not enjoying it at all. So he drops down on the ground, drawing King Luan to the ground as well, while the Bull Centaurs surround the Bretonnian King. Over here, we have the Spear's blocky formations not doing much here. Another reason why you want to go wide formation is because you can spread out your army to go as wide as possible, cover more area, and block up advances like these. These Hobgoblin Cutthroats just kind of sneak through the gaps in the formations, and now the men-at-arms are unable to catch up and defend the archers, who will be caught up and run down by the Hobgoblin Cutthroats, grinding their way through the peasant lines. Now the Spearmen-at-arms are coming in, but like, yeah. So basically, here we can tell a classic case of new player here, having a lot of these spears are being commanded on a group. Like you're just kind of selecting multiple units and just trying to draw them into like an engagement. Like it is the total Warhammer land battles is more about controlling individual units instead of grouping up like these. Unless you're controlling a group of cavalry, then it's a different story. But like for infantry, you want to like make sure each infantry is engaging a different target at a different position. Right now, a lot of these spears are getting clumped up onto one blob here, when they could have been spread out here, and maybe a couple units at the back, just to like prevent any flanking charges. But right now, or even just having multiple layers of troops to absorb any charge that broke through the peasant mobs. But right now, having that only one layer of defense means that once the first layer got broken, the advancing troops can just go straight through and punch through your defenses, get onto your back line here. That is not much to talk about here. Like the bull centers trade well into like Knights of the Realm, and Grail Knights just kind of run them down eventually. And I assume the Grail Knights got dealt with by a Fate of Buna. Yeah, like I don't even see the Grail Knights anymore. These are Knights of the Realm. Like the Grail Knights are gone. So I assume it's just a Fate of Buna nuking them. Like there are still some Knights of the Realm fighting, but yeah, the Grail Knights are gone. Wait, these are the Grail Knights. Yeah, let's see the damage value on the Sorcerer Prophet. Like if he got a Fate of Buna on the Grail Knights, yeah, he definitely got a Fate of Buna on the Grail Knights. And with the support of the Bull Center Enders, beat down King Luan as well. So a pretty sad time for King Luan. Like not having the good fight he wants. Anyways, he is indeed less than half health, so the beloved son of Bretonnia is active. All the Bretonian troops receiving that immune to psychology and additional attack bonus, but that doesn't matter because the Kadai Destroy is still gonna wreck them in melee combat. Okay, maybe it matters a bit. Now the Kadai is getting surrounded by peasants and hit by King Luan. It's been a while since I see Luan actually activating the beloved son of Bretonnia, because this is just an annoying thing to use when the character himself has passive heals. Anyways, the Bretonnian army trying to make a comeback with a little bit of the archer fire and trying to snap out the peasant, trying to snap out the Kadai Destroyer, but that is not gonna go too well for the rest of the Bretonnian army here. Like Gwaladag is just kind of like separating all those forces and run them down. Like all these Bull Center Enders getting good value overall, really. Yeah, 2 chevrons on this one, 1,700 gold. Definitely beat down a Grail Knight, or at least a lot of those Knights of the Realm. So overall, the Bull Center Enders are enjoying themselves, while the Hobgoblin Cutthroats just cut their way through all those peasant infantry. Another Fate of Buna is dropping into the healthiest Knights of the Realm here. It's gonna go down. It's gonna be dead. Like Fate of Buna is a very damaging spell, very punishing spell. How long is it? 20 seconds, 125 to 250 damage. Yeah, just look at this. Yeah. Anyways, army losses. Well, I believe this is not the worst. Like the army build itself is not the worst, but I do think that. Wait, shit. Yeah, I do think that army builds of the Bretonnian army is not the worst, but their micro and tactics can use a little bit of an improving. Probably just watch more. I guess just watch more. Yeah, just watch more. Yeah, just watch more like gameplay videos, and you'll eventually get a grasp of how to deploy formations correctly. I mean, I made a video about formations, a little guide about formations. Maybe you can watch it. Go watch and like it, and subscribe. Yeah. Anyways, let me just go through the army performances a bit. Give me a sec. All the Bull Center Rangers did well, just cutting down all those poor Bretonnian cavalry. Cutthroats, cut the throats of the peasants. Laborers didn't do much, doesn't really matter. Kadai Destroyer actually got nuked and got destroyed instead by King Luan and peasant pole man at arms with pole arms. Sorcerer Prophet of Death got some good damage with the Fate of Bunas and beating down King Luan with the Bull Center support, while Bretonnia of King Luan did a lot of damage. He is indeed a very powerful melee combatant, but yeah, especially with Sword of Quran debuffing his opponent's stats. But overall, the Grey Knights got wrecked. Definitely, they got Fate of Bunat, I assume. Yeah, the rest of the army didn't really do much here. The deployment could have been done a bit better, but yeah, it's okay. To be fair, it's something that you pick up with time. You can't just you don't just go in and immediately get good. You just kind of have to learn how to do it best with time. So yeah, I would love to see Plab to just improve. Yeah, I would love to see Plab more in future games though. Just working out new tactics and strategies and all that, and maybe army builds as well. And it's always nice to see a player improve. So yeah, we shall see how it goes in the future. Ooh, it seems that it's a Norscan versus Lizardmen fight. Okay, this might already. I know I'm kind of throwing shade here, and it's not the greatest, but oh, this might already be bad for the Lizardmen at the start. This is not great. Anyways, I'll talk about it afterwards. Yeah, after I drop the army blocker. Phoenix King, I am not a hater, just very critical. No. You definitely hate dwarfs. We don't discriminate against height here. So you should go and think about your anti-dwarf hate speech in the corner. Bavrat the Poor Gobbles, Francesco Carrari, Forza Plap. Lich has a lot of questions. Wait, what questions? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Bavrat. I'm imagining not dodging Fate of Buna. Yeah, it's the skill issues, you know. Like, just put a little bit more micro in there and you can just evade Fate of Buna. Okay, to be fair, you can theoretically dodge it by just moving your unit out of range, constantly moving it out of range. But it's eventually they'll catch up. Bavrat not getting immediately good. Okay, Bavrat, I appreciate. Wait, Sipa? Sipa is pretty good. Like, yeah, he. I mean, yeah. Don't. Okay, Bavrat, like, don't throw shade in here. I would appreciate it if my chat doesn't have any drama. Anyways, memes of Warhammer. I'm not happy how Shadow of Change did Zangor and did not give Kislev Lore of Hack. Lore of Hack is not even a... Alright, they should... I mean, Kislev already have 2 unique Lores of Magic when the Vampire Coves only have 1, so I don't... I feel like Kislev on the unique Lores of Magic, Lores of Magic wise, I think Kislev is good enough. Like, they don't really need a unique. Sigils and Sipa are very good. Yeah, they're pretty good. Like, they are pretty good. Just don't put Void in there with them. Like, I don't know if you're throwing shade or what. When you put Void in there. Oh, hey, Tuck. Nice to see you here. I've been seeing your comments quite a bit on my videos lately, but yeah. It's been a while since I saw you live. Anyways. Spicy picks overall. Spicy picks. Oh, I don't like the Lizardmen pick, but yeah, we shall see what happens here. We're seeing some spicy picks for sure. Learned a lot. I played Brett, so that explains. Yeah, right. The Bretonnian scums. The damn Bretonnian scums. Anyways. Spicy picks on both ends. Spicy picks. I mean, okay. So, I'm looking at the Plaps build. They are the theoretically good builds. Like, theoretically, the stuff he brings can do good in the matchup. But that's a big but here. Not that but like a big but but here. Against a human player and against the current meta, it's not gonna be great. Like, I see a lot of stuff that are theoretically good, but it's just that practically they really aren't. Anyways, sorry, the club. I'm not intentionally to put you down or whatnot, but yeah, this is gonna be rough for the Lizardmen with the build. Learn a lot. Also, always burn bread. Let's see what happens in the next patch. Actually, we shall see. Like, they might be nerfing Bretonnia, or they might just keep it as is and keeping them super OP. So we don't know. We don't know. Like, the patch coming on 31st of August. Oh shit! I'll be working on that day. Well, we shall see what happens. Anyways, army blocker off, and we shall check out the army builds here. For the Norscan army, a front line of Marauder Spears and 2 Norscan Ice Trolls. Very cool pick here. Never see these guys because they're shit leadership. On the flank, some Skin Wolves, and in the front, a couple Norscan Warhounds. In this guy's double Frostworm again. It is perhaps the Frostworm meta. Like, Frostworms, you never see these guys, but now you just see them coming in doubles now. I mean, I used them once and they've been pretty good. So, I mean, I guess just use them. I guess. Anyways, a double Marauder Hunters and Frog, the Troll King. On the other side, there, the Lizardmen going for a 4 Saurus Warriors, not the spear ones, just the regular ones without shields. A single Furrow Coat one for a bit of mobility, and this guy's a couple Pterodon Riders. This might be a bit of issue today because we have the 2 Javelin Hunters at the back. As for the monstrosities here, a Slan Mage Priest of Heavens, which is why I'm saying this is a concern. This pick is already on a bit of a back foot, coming in with only Comet of Kazandora as well. So no other use than just blasting stuff with a very slow moving spell, a very long winding uptime spell. So not great. And then there's also Banishment. Roiling Skies. For once, this might actually be good, because we have 2 flyers against in the Norskins here. Aura of Quetzal, Blood Statuette of Spite, and Cold Blooded. And then we have a Croxagore, and a Feral Carnosaur, and a Feral Troglodyte coming in for that anti-large armor piercing poison missile to snipe out big monstrosities. A couple Chameleon Skinks on the flanks as well, and that's it. And yeah, this is the Troglodon. I don't know if the Lizardmen can hold long enough for the Troglodon to do the damage. Right now, the Norskins have a shit ton of mobility, capable of just disrupting the missiles at the back. Troglodon. And Warhounds can go and harass the Chameleon Skinks. Chameleon Skinks will shoot them up and beat them down, no doubt, but they will still be a good pressure force. Granted, they can't actually see the Chameleon Skink, so we shall see what happens. But yeah. Right now, the Pterodon Riders doesn't want to get too close. The Marauder Hunters with javelins will be shooting them up. And Saurus Warriors should beat down the Marauder Spears, no issue whatsoever. Oh no! The Troglodyte is shooting at the Marauder Spears, not at the Frostworm or the Norscan Ice Trolls. Okay, now it's shooting at the Frostworm. I'm missing. Rip. Which is why I also think that it's... Oh, the pain! The damage! All the javelins just nuking the poor Pterodon riders. Oh no! It just died! Ah, the pain! Oh, look at how fast they got killed by the anti-large javelins. They don't have the armor to tank any damage. Yes, they have like 15% missile resistance, but against the anti-large missile strength and the high value of those missile strength, they are just getting shredded. Now the Feral Connoisseur is struggling to decide where to engage. Probably just jump on top of those Norscan Ice Trolls would be nice. But anyways, on the far side there, Chameleon Skinks, not a bad pick to be fair. They can skirmish down stuff pretty effectively, but the Saurus Warriors are taking pretty good damage against the from the Ice Troll rush, and one of them just got nuked by an Ice Breath, swarmed by Marauders and Warhounds. These Saurus Warriors are gone. Now another spell coming in from the heavens. From the heavens, Land Mage Priest nuked the Marauder Spears, did some decent damage to the Norscan Ice Trolls, but just not enough to turn the tide. Now the Ice Trolls are moving on to beat down the Slime Mage Priest. The Feral Connoisseur is trying to fight back, and with the leadership dropping on the Ice Trolls, they are quickly routed, but that's not going to help them too much here. Ice Wolves here grind through some of the Feral Cold ones, while the Chameleon Skinks are trying to shoot them up. They are going to be facing the wrath of the Frostworm, a very chilling charge indeed, and they are going to get they're going to get bashed in the face by the Frostworm tail and whatnot. Now the Troglodyte is sitting at the back here, shooting at whatever they can get their hands on. It definitely should be shooting at Frog or the Skin Wolves, either one. And but Slime Mage Priest is getting swarmed by Skin Wolves and by Frog. So yeah, that's probably gonna be it for the Lizardmen. Their front line is barely holding, but their mobility, the flanks, are completely collapsed by the presence of Skin Wolves and the Frostworm. Now Frostworm jumping on top of the Troglodyte. It's not like the Troglodyte isn't a bad melee combatant per se, but a lot of that gold value goes into the missiles, so it wants to like fight back and do damage with the missiles, but it can't do that right now, being rampaged and out of control, while the Slime Mage Priest of Heavens will be surrounded and finished off by Frog and a whole lot of Skin Wolves around him. And yeah, that's it for the Lizardman, I believe. Like, there's no way the Lizardman can win this back with the Lord dead. Only the Troglodyte, which is rampaging, is still on the field. And yeah, GG to Koala Duck here, and good game to the Plab. A very valiant attempt, but unfortunately Koala Duck has a bit more experience in the game, and definitely watch more videos on gameplay. Given the double Frostworm build, and one of them did really good with the damage here. Skin Wolves also clean up the Chameleon Skinks and run down a bunch of stuff, beat down the Slan Mage Priest alongside the help of the Frog, so they did some good damage. Ice Trolls didn't do too much damage here. One of them beat down, punched through the formations, I guess, but then as soon as they get on top of the Slime Mage Priest, they got terrified by the Feral Connoisseur, so kind of a GG rip for them. One of the Marauder Hunters with Javelins did a lot of damage with their anti-large shots, the other not so much, and the rest of the infantry did a pretty meh job. Same goes for the Warhounds, except this one. This one earned back their valor and still got a lot of stuff to give. On the other side there, Lizardmen. Slime Mage Priest of Life Heavens is a very bad pick, honestly. Like, normally if you want a Slime Mage Priest, you either go for a Lore of Life, because Lore of Life is just so good, especially when they have the Greater Arcane Conduit to get it even more magic, Winds of Magic, to get more healing. Or you probably want a Lore of Fire to clean up chaff when you're fighting like skeletons and stuff. But Yeah, against Norscan, this Lord of Heavens. I mean, against anything Lord of Heavens is never a good choice because the spells are kind of shit on that Lord of Magic. Like, it doesn't have that much utility. Like, it's a very mediocre lore. It has a bit of everything, but it's never good at anything. I would say the best spell of that lore is probably Harmonic Convergence to buff a single unit's melee stats. Also, I guess Wind Blast used to be good, but ever since they got nerfed and we are moving on to an ultra unit scale, they're not good as it was before. For the rest of the army here, Troglodyte didn't do too much damage. Same goes for the Pharaoh Connoisseur. Yeah, it's just kind of sad times here. The rest of the army also didn't do too much. Couldn't even earn back their value, unfortunately. And yeah, GG. Now let's have a look at Lich. How did you create your logo? It's beautiful. Actually, my friends made it. I was trying to make something myself, but I was like, okay, I want to make something, but it looks horrible at the beginning, and then my friends came up to me and be like, hey, we saw your channel, and I mean, I did share it to them, but yeah. Anyways, we saw your channel, but your logo needs a bit of work. So they decided to like, oh hey, we're gonna work on this for a bit. Let me know what you think, and then they just kind of came up with this design, and I've been using it since. It's been like 2 years, and yeah, it's a really good, solid design. Anyways. I need to move on to the. It's the other fight is Mighty Mamakil and NC Bavret. Okay. Okay. And yeah, GG to both the Plab and Koala Duck, and congrats to Koala Duck for moving on to the next stage. We are gonna go in and check this out. Oh shit. No, I forgot. Sorry. Nobody see anything. Nobody saw anything. Shit. Okay, these are the two players. On the left we have Bavret. And on the right we have Mighty Mumakil. Yep, I think I spelled the name right. Okay, cool. It's a Dwarf versus Norscan battle. Let's see what happens here. I have my own particular Norscan, like anti-Dwarf build as the Norscan, and I mean, I did add the Frostworm after watching the Dwarfs video, but I do have certain units I particularly favor. Basically, the armor debuff combo of Familiar Warriors, Plague of Rust, and also Wolfric the Wandering actually had a battle yesterday against Cool Umbrella with that exact build. Yeah, which the armor debuffs worked really well against the Dwarfs. I'll show you what happened around next week. Yeah, I made like a YouTube shorts, and yeah. Yeah, I made like a YouTube shorts for that, and we'll see that next Tuesday, I think. Anyways, so army builds: Norscans versus Dwarves. The Norscan's going for a very weird choice of getting Silver Chevron Marauders, hoping to get them hold in the fight for a little bit longer, but I am worried because the blasting charges, no matter it doesn't matter what your melee stats are, the blasting charges are a range attack and will damage you with the explosives, regardless of how high your melee defense. So they will still get hurt even if they're elite. Yeah, and they're no blasting charges. Now I'm surprised. Okay, so perhaps this time the Silver Chevron, Silver Chevron Elite Marauder frontline might do some work here. 38 attack, 32 defense. Perhaps they can trade well against the Dwarf box. We don't know. We shall see. The Dwarf is boxing hard, but yeah, let's check out the army builds here. The Dwarves are boxing. I mean, to be fair, the best bet when you're fighting against the Norscan is usually to box. But that doesn't apply when there's a dragon that can fly over the box and drop in. But the Cold Warder will definitely receive some nasty fire when they're trying to approach. Those Thunders and the Thunders and the that's a flame cannon. So the Thunders are no joke, but the Dwarf Warriors are just gonna hold the Marauder back. Wait, shit, who pressed ready? Bruh, you're supposed to wait for your opponent. Anyways, Bavran has been playing for some time in the scene right now, so I do think that he should be able to set up just fine, but I don't know what he's doing with his formation. This is weird. Like you're supposed to have your units spread out a bit more, but like in such a blocky formation with the wait, what are you doing, Bavran? This is a campaign formation. And you're not even checker boxing. You're just kind of this is a table. It's a two times like a 3 times 3 table or some shit like that. Like what the fuck? Anyways, this is not a I am worried about the Norscans now. Oof. Oh wait, no, I'm not worried about the Norscans. I'm worried about Dwarves. They don't have anything to clear out the. Like they're trying to grind. Oh wait, no, they do have something to clear out the Marauders, the flame cannons. But then, I don't know. I don't even know. I guess the Cold Warder will get repelled by the so many Thunders, so it can't even drop in to disrupt the flame cannons. The flame cannons can't stay on fire at will though, because they're gonna start shoot at Wolfric and miss out their attacks. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, flame cannon is blasting out. Are they gonna open fire? I do wonder. Like they're not good at against like Norscan Ice Wolves. I guess they can still do the damage, but their projectiles are kind of slow. So the Norscans might just be able to dodge those shots. Anyways, leading the army is actually just a lot, just to squeeze out more funds for the Thunders. For the Norscans, we have a line of elite Marauders. Marauders spears. Why? You're just paying extra for something you don't need. I get it. There might be Florake, which is a large target, but you might as well just use like Wolfric the Wanderer to just nuke him down with Hunter of Champions. Anyways, as you can see here, missiles cares not if you have elite melee stats. They just blast through your HP. And the Marauders are already taking massive damage. They're still trying to circle around and get a good engagement from the flank, but against a boss, what you want to do is just to get in range and start fighting as soon as possible. Because right now, the more time you spend on moving your army, the more time you get shot at and the more damage you take before you actually get into melee. So yeah, the elite Marauders, all of them with silver chevrons, and then also some Marauder champions, are already taking some pretty nasty damage so far. The Skin Wolves also doesn't have any good angles to charge in, because whichever angle they choose, they will be stopped by the Dwarfs. So they are just kind of struggling to pick a target right now, with nothing to disrupt all these missiles. And the Marauder champions are already all just getting nuked by the flame cannons there. Oh, it just hurts. But yeah. The Marauders are tanking some shots, but being so expensive right now, this is not cost efficient. The Cold Voider is getting focus fire blasted by all of these Thunders now. 4 of them focus fire, and it took like seconds, and it only took seconds for the Cold Voider to drop down to less than half HP, down to another volley, and it's almost dead. And I believe that's the end of the Norscan rush. That's hard to come back from, losing a big expensive piece of dragon right there. Like, the chilling aura doesn't do anything against dwarfs anyways. Like, it's already slow enough. It doesn't need to go slower. And boat there, a little bit misplaced. And overcast Plague of Rust. But there are not a lot of targets to shoot at. The best use of Plague of Rust is actually a normal cast, not a overcast. Like, it is more cost efficient, it doesn't hurt you with overcast damage, and it also it's just more cost efficient in general. Like, just focus your damage in a smaller area and just do the damage. Anyways, Wolfric is trying to get into the fight, but he's gonna get focused by the Thunders as well. A little bit of Plague of Rust on the side there. The Miners will be taking some damage against the superior Marauder champions, but they should be able to fight back just fine. They have the leadership of a Dwarf, they are very stubborn, and the Flame Cannons are providing fire support, blasting those poor Marauders in the face, and they won't be staying for too long there. Unfortunately though, the Miners got hit by the friendly fire, and yeah, damaged by artillery, unfortunately. Anyways, another overcast Searing Doom killing my frame rate, and some of the Thunders, not a lot, but some of the Thunders and Dwarf Warriors, the Norscans are trying their damnedest to breach through one side of the box, but so far the box has held successfully. And Wolfric is running out of steam. The Marauder army is also running out of steam. That's pretty much it for the Norscans, I do believe. Yeah, that's probably it. GG to both players here. Mighty Mamalki has a valiant attempt with his rush, but a few mishaps in the middle and some mistakes on the army build as well unfortunately cost him his game, especially the Cold Voider. That was a very unfortunate play over there, just getting focused down by so many Thunders. But yeah, I don't think the Spears is a good choice here. Like, Wolfric has so much armor. No, not Wolfric. Thoric has so much armor. Even with your anti-large, it isn't gonna do shit against Thoric. Like, you're better off just having a combo of Familiar Warriors and Wolfric with the with Hunter of Champions. That would do more damage against Thoric. But anyways, army performance, really not much damage. I don't want to throw shade on any players here, but oof, this is painful on the Norscan side. But yeah, I would say that one way to play this matchup is just to go as cheap and wide as possible with the Marauders. 4 Marauders and 4 more Marauders with great weapons. Don't pick the Spears and don't try to go for Marauder champions. Like, they're expensive and makes them prime target for artillery. So yeah, don't use Marauder champions. Just use great weapon Marauders. And swarm those Dawis. Eventually, somewhere in the front line will give, and you can just swarm, breach through with some Familiar Warriors, which has 45% of missile resistance when they have high leadership. Great for tanking missiles, and they have armor piercing and anti-infantry as well. So great for breaching like infantry, armored infantry line like the Dwarfs, and yeah, which the Norscans usually sucks in, and they are less susceptible to blasting charges. So there's that. But yeah, overall not great on the Norscan side. The Flame Cannon just had a buffet today, just blasting away so many elite infantry. Thunders did good damage against the Cold Voider as well. This is something you need to be careful of when you're playing with like dragon units, because a Cold Voider, like a Frostworm, can do good damage with the breath attacks, but you need to be very on top of the micro. You can't let it stay in front of the Thunders for too long, because once it stays too long, those Thunders will open up and chew through its HP, just like what you saw back there. And yeah, it's pretty painful to see the Cold Voider go down like that. But yeah, the Thunders did some good damage and still have a lot of steam to give. And yeah, that's it. Do we have a second battle? We might actually have a second battle. Give me a second. Bavret indeed taking the first win. Okay, this is gonna be. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I suppose this is the second battle. Ooh. Bavret, Inner Saber's coming up. I can see the Inner Saber's coming up. I can see the Inner... I can see the Inner Sabers right here on the army belts. I mean, this is not the Inner Sabers. Spoiler alert. I don't know. Okay, not gonna say anything. This is not the Inner Saber this time. He's channeling the players of Night Crew. Oh no! Oh no! Horrendous, is this tourney predetermined on Discord, or can watchers hop on battle for this stream right now? This is actually you can actually go. Okay, most tournaments are actually signed up on challenge. I couldn't host this tournament on Total Tavern because Turin still haven't given me access to the page yet. So yeah, I have to use challenge instead. So the human boy quit Warhammer 2. Okay, he didn't. He's just taking a break for like a week. He will be back for Warhammer next week. Anyways, yeah. Horrendous. This tourney is signed up earlier. The sign up page is on the description, but you should be going into the sign up page, and then there's like a Discord where it is called it is called the Under Empire, which is a Discord managed by Human Boy Yes and a few other core players of his admin team. And you can sign up for tournaments there. I also host tournaments on my own Discord. There's like a bunch of tournaments that you can sign up for, but you have to sign up for them beforehand. And yeah, you have to sign up for them beforehand, and after that, okay, okay, no more inner players of Night Crew. Anyways, you have to sign up for those tournaments beforehand and check in to show that you're playing, and then it will be like a process. It will be like a standard elimination bracket gameplay, yeah, where you can just go through the where you will be going through the process of fighting through your opponents, eliminating them or getting eliminated, and yeah. Yeah. Dragonborn, I'm not sure if that counts as a box. That is a box for sure. Everything is it's a closed-in box. What do you mean? Anyways, but yeah. Oh, sorry, I haven't finished the topic to Horrendous. I just kind of drifted, digressed in the middle. But yeah, you can't really jump in on a tournament immediately unless somebody invited you to do so. Usually, it is something that you have to sign up for and before the tournament starts. But anyways, back to the game. Dragonborn, aka Koala Duck. I'm not sure if that counts as a box. That is for sure a box. It is a wall of. It is shield walls on 4 sides, all closed in with yeah. It's a box for sure. Strix, I believe he knows what he's doing. He's just memeing a bit. Yeah. Valfred, yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's been playing with like a lot of decent players, pretty good players. Got to counter Thoric. Kaelin, they're lining up with artillery, so kind of taking quite a lot of damage already. Yep, they are. They were indeed doing that. The box is silly, but what did Norsca bring to be able to punch through this line? And Skinwolf's why? Yeah, I do agree that the Norscan picks are not the greatest, especially the like theoretically the Cold Voider could do some good damage with the breath attacks and just hop in, silence some of those thunders. Like, this is why I would bring a Female Warrior, bring a couple Female Warriors, because they can breach through the Dwarf front line quite fast if there's a bit of help from Searing Doom or or the boat from Wolfric. Chariots would have been useful. I mean, it depends. Like, chariots aren't doing the greatest even in this patch, so we don't know. Yeah. Dragonborn, it is a Beastman mirror for sure. Swim, it was a box. It was a Dragonborn. It was a rectangle. Box comes in all shapes and sizes. It can be as long as it is closed in. It is a box. It doesn't matter if it's a rectangle, if it's a triangle, if it's a octagon or hexagon. It is a box. It is closed in. It is a box. Actually, I should calm down. I should not be like. I know I'm getting emotional here, but I'm just channeling that human boy energy, and for this stream in particular, cause well, I'm taking over his tournament after all. But yeah. Anyways, we chill, we go chill. Okay, army blocker is off. Swim, a box can be a pyramid. Yes, indeed. But we are having 2D boxes now. We don't have a 3D boxes. We can have two 2D boxes, one in the sky and one on the ground, but we can't have a 3D box. No, it can't close on a 3D side. Anyways, army built a front line of Ungor spearmen herd, backed up by a bunch of Ungor raiders. Earlier, I saw double Gorgon plus Jabberslave. It would have been a disgusting game, but I guess we're not seeing that today, so I'm glad. But anyways, we have a Brave Shaman of Shadows. Interesting. Malkov's mystifying miasma and enfeebling foe, just trying to crush their opponent in the face. And we have like 4 Minotaurs with great weapons, and on the flank some Centaurs. 3 Centaurs in total, just trying to pressure their opponents on the mobility side. As for the other Beastmen, as for Wonkiness, aka Mighty Mukil? Anyways, the Red Beastmen, a front line of Bestigor herds plus some Gore herds with shields. The Razor Gores are dashing forward alongside the Vorbergland Brood Mother. Okay, I don't know. Okay, it has a vortex damage that can also sunder armor, just YOLOing herself into the freaking blob. Now a ton of Minotaurs are just crashing in, beating down the poor Razor Gore herds. Now the Bestigor herds are coming in, and but the Minotaurs have already did good damage to the Brood Mother. But Korok's Man Reapers are coming in as well with Malagor the Dark Omen. But the Bestigor herds are not doing enough damage to punch through, but the blue Beastmen on the flanks are kind of losing over here. The Centaurs getting overwhelmed, but they're kind of barely hanging on, just barely though. While the Ungor Spear herds are not doing too hot against the superior infantry in general. Malagor the Dark Omen dropping in those Flock of Dooms, draining the health of everything in the vicinity, hitting a lot of targets. So he is indeed generating some good value overall. He also did some melee damage, I assume, but mostly just generating good value with that spell cast. But with so many Ungor raiders at the back there, the Brood Mother is getting sniped fast, and especially with a ton of Minotaurs with great weapons, their anti-lodge swarming her, and the Vorbergland Brood Mother is on the verge of death. Anyways, the Brave Shaman of Shadows is holding just fine. He is indeed quite armored on the Tuskor Chariot, while the flanks here, with the superior numbers of Centaurs and Ungor Spears, they are beating back the red Beastmen advance. The blue Beastmen is beating back the red Beastmen, while the Brood Mother is getting finished off by a ton of Minotaurs. The Bestigor herd getting drained up by the Malkov's mystifying miasma, a very good spell against both infantry and cavalry alike. And when against the Beastmen, in the Beastmen mirror, you kind of expect them to just bring a ton of infantry and cavalry. So yeah, especially Centaurs. So the Centaurs are getting hit hard. No, the Centaurs are not getting hit hard. The Bestigors were getting hit hard, and they are getting overwhelmed and worked down. But yeah. A bit of lag here, unfortunately. Okay, I hope we're stabilizing. Anyways. Senegals overwhelming the poor Bestigals who are crushed, being overwhelmed and all that. Now, Senegals over here will be running into the Angor Raiders. The Angor Raiders will take a lot of damage here, but the Angor Spears should be able to screen them up or not. Korok's Man Reapers are here, and they are the most elite infantry of the Beastmen. But even then, there's just too much armor piercing. Ooh, another juicy Flock of Doom here, draining the health of a lot of units in the vicinity. But that's not gonna save those Bestigals whose leadership are wavering and got hit by another Malkov's Mystifying Miasma. It is such a good spell, I really love it. It's a cost-efficient spell to just directly damage an opponent's unit. Unfortunately, it is a direct damage spell, so there's not a lot of counters other than healing, which the Beastman doesn't have much here, other than Butchers of Kalgengard and the Gorgons. But yeah, at this point, the Angor Raiders are buckling, but the Red Beastmen most of their army are gone. Like, everything is extremely tattered, and yeah, so basically the Red Beastmen kind of YOLO'd their entire army against the Blue Beastmen frontline, and their rush wasn't quite successful here, being stopped by a ton of Minotaurs with great weapons, and the Brute Mother being sniped out by the Angor Raiders in general. The mobility, they were attempting to breach the left, trying to make a breach on the left flank, but being held back by their opponents' Senegals and Spears, bought enough time for more Senegals just to flow into that flank and push back those Red Beastmen. And as a result, none of the Beastmen, the Red Beastmen push eventually faltered, and the Blue Beastmen held. A lot of, Malagor probably did a lot of damage with the Flock of Dooms. It's just not enough to carry the game in the end. And then that's probably GG. Balance of power is closer and closer to army losses. That's probably GG to both players. So many dead beasts on the sand indeed. There it is, just dead beasts all over the place. Like, in a Beastman Civil War, I think I would just go and spam a ton of Senegals. Granted, you need good micro for that, but like having 4 Senegals and 4 Senegals with throwing axes and a ton of, like, I don't know, Warhounds and whatnot, just to swarm your opponent's front line and back line and all that would be a good call, I think. But yeah, anyways, Minotaurs with the great weapons did really well. Butchers of Kalkengard doesn't have the anti-large bonus, so did less damage, but overall, it's mostly just the Minotaurs carrying the game, and the Angor Raiders shooting up the Brute Mother, getting some pretty good value. And the Bestigals aren't really that good, honestly. They tank well against Angors, but their armor piercing is wasted. Korok's Man Reapers getting pretty good damage value overall, but mostly because they were fighting Minotaurs, which they are good against. But the rest of the Red Beastmen frontline, these Bestigal herd did okay, but still not enough to earn back their worth. But yeah, mostly just not enough to earn back their worth. Like, I would probably save the money, like just not bring Bestigals at all, because you don't really need armor piercing against your own fellow Beastmen, really, because, well, they don't have anything armored other than the chariots or the Bestigals themselves, both of which are not great in this Civil War matchup. So Senegals with throwing axes, Senegals with great weapons, yeah, great weapons. Neither of them did much damage either, and Malagor did some good Flock of Dooms, but that's basically it. And yeah, this is gonna be a final battle between Bavrat and Koala Duck. GG to both players here. GG to both players. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get that. I'm just gonna get that. Army blocker up again. Send in the code to Koala Duck, and yep, he has shown up, and they will be picking and banning. And I'm just gonna do some hydration break. Spilled some water. Oops. And yeah, let's see what are Skavens. Oh, spicy. Koala Duck here, really confident with his Skaven play, huh? Excuse me. Interesting. Okay. Wait, is this Skaven versus Bretonnia now? Bavret staying true to his ratty side, but I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting on both players or something. Okay, let me just reply some stuff on Discord. Okay, cool. Oh, it's Dwarfs versus Norskins. Can the Norskins beat the Dwarf box this time? Can Koala Duck breach the Dwarven shield wall? Ooh, it's a rematch, but this time between against a better player. Yeah, I do have to say it's a slightly better player. Koala Duck, after all, he did manage to get into the finals. But yeah, it is Dwarf versus Norsca. I believe we are gonna see another double Frostworm build. Maybe we shall see. Not sure. Wait, is Koala Duck? Wait, is Koala Duck the person who sent in the? Okay, I need to check. Is Koala Duck the person who sent in the double Frost? Yeah. Is Koala Duck the person who sent in the double Frostworm replay to Dwarf plays? I need to check. Give me a second. It is Koala Duck. Yeah, it is Koala Duck. Okay, that makes sense. Well, that makes sense why he is using this build so much. Okay, yeah, he is the inventor of this build. Never mind. My bad. I did not recognize you for sure. Sorry about that. But yeah, okay, we have the man, the myth, the legend who made up that build, and yeah, it is probably. It might just become the meta. It might just become the meta. It has potential. Like, I tried it myself. It's good. It's good. Another interesting choice from Koala Duck, though, with the Norskins. We shall see what happens. We shall see what happens. Oh, it seems that the Dwarfs have readied up. We've seen Bavred on how he deals with Norskin last battle, so we shall see if this is the same thing against Koala Duck. I'm sure Koala Duck saw his build earlier, so if he brings the same thing, then Bavred might be in a bit of a trouble. Because Koala Duck would be ready. He would be ready. Alright, we're beginning the finals of best of 3 between the two red ogres. We have Bavrat on the left side, the dwarf side, the green side, and we have Koala Duck on the right side, the Norscan side, and the red side. Now, Koala Duck once again brought double Frostworm build, but this time has a little bit of adjustment. A couple Marauder Horse Masters, interestingly. I did not expect that one. You don't really want Marauder Horses against Dwarfs, usually, because they are not great at they are perfect target for the Dwarfs to counter skirmish against, and just shot in the face till they're dead. But yeah, they are there this time, and we have a bit of a lag. Okay, cool, we're in. So a front line of Marauders with great weapons mixed in with Marauder Champions with great weapons. Just trying to use that AP to grind through the Dwarfen front line, or the Dwarfen box line, if I may. A couple Norscan Warhounds for that mobility, and a couple Marauder Horse Masters, a leadership of Shaman Sorcerer of Death Magic with Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, and then we have Wolfric the Wanderer coming in with only the boat. And then in the skies there, double Frostworm, and that's it for the army build. On the other side, Bavrat channeling his inner Saber's Ragnum once more, and I need to change the scoreboard. Bavrat on the left, Koala Duck on the right. And yeah, handling his inner Saber's Ragnum here, going for a box build once again. But this time things are not going to be as easy, because this is a very, very, very primitive box, if I may. Like, it's literally just like 4 walls and be done. Like, the Saber's Ragnum, I know, would go for a very sophisticated, like, okay, I can't get more than 4 lines at the same time. He would get a very sophisticated box like a hexagon, or like a pentagon, just going for, or like just a little bit of a, shit, I forgot what is this shape called. Anyways, he would have multiple layers. His box would have multiple layers. That's the most amazing thing. Or that he would have a really nice and spread out, like, star-shaped deployment of missiles as well. Just putting them in a formation such that each of them can provide fire support to each other, even if one of them is getting disrupted by an opponent's artillery, mobility, flyers, single entities, and whatnot. Kaelwyn, I suppose if the dragons fly inside the box of the ranged units, they can cause quite a bit of quite a havoc, I think. Yeah, it probably can be. But it depends on whether the Thunders can stay online and dish out the damage. Like, even if they disrupt one unit, even if each of them disrupt one unit, you can still, like, they're still free to fire. So it depends on how well can Bavrat micro those Thunders. Like, I do think that maybe perhaps just cut out a couple miners and just bring some Iron Drakes with torpedo hammers can be interesting. But yeah, anyways. Kaelwyn Red Ogre is teaching the veteran players in here. Nice. Indeed, like, sometimes you get some really good inspirations, not from the fellow veteran players, because they are very used to the meta, and they bring things that are always meta. You see them all the time, but like, you need some fresh ideas to break the mold, and like some newer players can do that rather effectively, because they are not fixed against the meta. They know, like, they can sometimes bring up interesting ideas. Sometimes they don't execute them too well, but like, a good player, a veteran player, can then improve upon those ideas and just, like, yeah, just make them better. Make them more viable, improve them, and just simply make them better in general, and yeah. So yeah, it really depends on like ideas and like especially if a new player is willing to just try out new ideas themselves instead of just boxing. Now we can see that with the blocky deployment of Thunders, they are getting obliterated by the Frostworm Breath attacks. Having a blocky formation is great when you want to like turn around and fire. It just takes minimal effort for them to turn around and fire. But right now, they are also more susceptible to a breath attack, and just 2 units getting absolutely obliterated on the breath attack. I'm not seeing any bolt here, so Wolfric might be a bit slow on those breaching charges. They could have just blast through the Longbeards in the front line and just help the front line to charge. Ooh, oh no, the bolt was dropped on top of the Thunders. Bad mistake there. They need to hit up the Dwarf Warriors and just allow the Great Weapon infantry to breach the enemy front line faster. Because right now the Frostworms are disrupting the Thunders and part of the Flame Cannons. But right now, they're not breaching the Marauder infantry aren't breaching the Dwarf shield wall fast enough. Very nice choice of keeping some of the Marauders in reserve here, but they're not breaching the shield wall fast enough. So it is buying time for the Thunders to dish out the damage against the Frostworms, who are so weak right now. They're probably gonna be dead. And not gonna be alive for a second breath attack. They still have quite a few breath attacks left, especially not earning back their value so far. Like, this is why I would say like these are some interesting ideas, but I do think that they need some improvement because okay, so my approach to this build, to this Norscan build, would be double Frostworm is great. It's great. Like, keep that. However, what you can do is, instead of bringing, say, Marauder Horse Masters and the expensive Marauder Hunter Champions, instead you would want to bring a couple Familiar Warriors who can tank missiles like the Thunder missiles, doesn't get affected by Flame Cannons, and has enough punching power to breach the weaker Dwarf Warrior front line. And with the area of effect damage from the from Wolfric's bolt, unfortunately doing some friendly fire there, they would have enough damage to just breach the minor front line or the Dwarf Warrior front line, allowing the monsters to get through the front line and get on top of the Thunders and the artillery. But alas, this is not gonna happen today here. And yeah, the Dwarf box have held the crossfire of Thunders here. As I said, like, as long as there are 3 Thunders, like, even if the Frostworm manage to disrupt like 2-3 units of the Thunders, they manage to they will be shut up by the other Thunders as well. And eventually, without a successful breach on the Dwarf box, the Marauder infantry alone cannot breach the Dwarven front line, and eventually got grind down by the sheer amount of Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors and their elite, like, just holding power. On the far side, the second Frostworm is getting seen off by a volley of Thunder fire, and that's pretty much it. Like, some Thunders got routed earlier, sure, but they have regrouped and are now shooting at whatever they can get their hands on. But yeah. Anyways, I'll do a bit of quick showcase of how I would adjust the Norscan build in this matchup. Like, we saw a Fate of Buna against the Thunders earlier as well, but it's not gonna, it's not doing too much that. Like, it's doing good damage, don't get me wrong, but the Dwarves have 35% of spell resistance, so 35% of that damage has been wasted. So not the most efficient use of damaging spells in general. I would pick, instead of bringing Fate of Buna, I would actually go for Searing Doom, because Searing Doom does good damage even against Dwarfs with the armor piercing explosion. So yeah, the first game, I assume Bavret will be taking this one. Like, Wolfric, he has used up all his bolt charges, and quite a bit of that damage is into like friendly units doing friendly fire. And now the Thunders are just shooting at whatever they can get their hands on, and the rest of the Dwarf warriors are just lining up, resting themselves, waiting for their turn to fight Wolfric and eventually grind him down. And Wolfric doesn't have healing, so eventually he will get grind down, especially when the Thunders are freed up to shoot at him. But yeah, as you can see here, other than the 2 Thunders that got blasted by icy breaths and got run down by the frost whims, the rest of them did some okay damage, and this one just getting some ridiculous value till the end game. The front line of the Dwarfs doesn't really need to do much there. They just need to hold. They just need to hold. And yeah, that kind of spells the end of the game, really. Flame Cannons did really good damage against both the Marauder Infantry and the Marauder Champions. Marauder Champions try their best to do damage, but they're just like great weapon infantry these days are just not the best. And same goes for the Marauder Champions here, just kind of getting wrecked so far. And we have the Frostworm here, not getting any good damage, being focused hard by the Thunders. And yeah, the Shaman Sorcerer of Death like used a lot of magic on the Fate of Buna, but not getting much returns simply because of the spell resistance. Wolfric the Wanderer also didn't get a good engagement this time. The bolts didn't have the greatest placement. But yeah. So that is gonna be the end of this battle. We'll be moving on to the next one, and I'll put up the army blocker again. Bavret has won the first battle, and we shall see what's gonna happen next. I suppose if the dragons fly in, yeah, okay. So there's no new messages. Good. We are all caught up. Now, is it gonna be? Oh, it's gonna be Beastmen again. Bavret, are you gonna channel your inner Sabers Ragnum or channel your inner Strat games? I don't know actually, but we shall see. Oh, it's a Beastmen versus Dark Elves. Always an interesting matchup. Like it. Let me. How? How should I put it? Like, it is. I do think that it is a rather even matchup in between Beastmen and Dark Elves. I've seen both taking wins in this matchup, and those wins are quite close. Wait, did I have? Yeah, I have. Wait, what is this spicy pig? What the fuck? Oh, this is beautiful. Oh wait, spicy pigs on both ends. Okay, cool. This is. This is interesting. Okay. Okay, we have some spicy builds again. These are definitely off-meta picks. Okay, one of them has readied up. The other one still picking. But we're gonna see some very off-meta picks. We are seeing some very off-meta picks here. What do you mean you're not having off-meta picks, Bavret? I'm seeing a very off-meta picks. Okay. Oh fuck. You're. I haven't seen this guy in like ages. I haven't seen these two guys in like ages. I mean, I did bring one of them myself, but the other one not so much. Koala Duck here also picking a rarely seen, yeah, pick. Alright, we're loading in, so let's reveal the spicy picks. We have Kazarek One Eye versus Kazarek One Eye and Gorbul versus Rakarth. Mother freaking Rakarth, boys! We are seeing the never picked Dark Elf Lord in this match. And we don't have any Soul Stealers today. Yes! Finally, for once! No more Soul Stealers on the Dark Elves end. Instead we have Lore of Fire, but yeah, it's still a good spell for like it still have good spells, but it's just not the kind of Lore of Soul Stealer level. So yep, we good. We good. We have some good spicy picks for the day. Anyways, matchups, army builds. We have Ungor Spearman Hurt mixed in with Ungor Hurts. On the flanks there, we probably see some Sandigals on the flanks. They haven't started deploying yet, but we're just going to go through the army picks, and we can kind of guess the deployment as well. Backline would be 3 Ungor Raiders, and for the Lord choices, Brave Shaman of Death. No Traitorkin, interesting enough. Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, and also a Gorbul. Gorbul, man, I haven't seen this guy in ages, except in my own battles where I would take him myself. But yeah, Gorbul coming in with Slaughter's Call to buff up his own melee attack. Kazarek One Eye with the Scourge. Additional bonus versus melee infantry plus a ton of just damage boost. And also Apocalyptic Vision for additional attack boost. The Dark Mail as well for spell resistance and damage resistance. So 45% of resistance against spell damage. Actually can be pretty good against Soul Stealer, if used correctly, but yeah. Anyways, for the Dark Elf army, a front line of Bleak Swords and a couple Witch Elves. On the far side there are 2 Dark Riders. In the sky is a Harpy unit. And now we have the spicy choices, Charybdis. Haven't seen this for ages as well. Rakarth coming in with Whip of Agony, melee defense. Okay, it can remove terror, fear, and melee defense, so can be pretty good against this Beastman build, where both the butchers and where the Gorbul at? The Gorbul, which is right behind the butcher. Wait, the Gorbul doesn't have terror, but anyways, they have fear, so that works as well. On the flank there, the mobility engagement is already going on here. Dark Riders took a charge from the Sandigals and are eating a lot of damage, doing some damage in return, but Sandigals are simply more expensive and more elite, and they will be swarmed. Witch Elves are moving in, but perhaps the Sandigals can screen them away to buy some time. But anyways, Sandigals are good at doing damage on the charge, but they are also very prone to getting damage. So Harpies recharging them, you can see the damage spiking up in return against the Sandigals. They are taking a lot of damage while dishing out a lot of pain. Anyways, a little bit of Burning Head going down the line here, roasting some Ungor Raiders, while the Bleak Swords will be trading okay against the Ungor Herds. They should be able to deal with the Ungor Herds here. It's the Ungor Raiders that is more of a concern, that can shoot up both a lot of stuff on the Dark Elves and the Dark Riders, Witch Elves, Charybdis, and Rakarth himself. But right now, all these Ungor Raiders are kind of pressured over here. Witch Elves cleaning up the Ungor infantry, while Rakarth will be terrifying some of these Sandigals away. No, these are Ungor Spears. Getting terrified away, but the Dark Riders on this flank is also done for, destroyed. Now over here on this flank, Ungor Raiders blasting away at the Charybdis, who is rushing in, trying to terrify away some of these Ungor infantry. But the Butchers of Kalkangar have nothing to stop them right now. Witch Elves still fighting against Sandigals, tying them down in melee combat, but Kazarek One Eye is here to support, and the Witch Elves are slowly faltering in this battle. Butchers of Kelkengard rolling through all those poor Angor spears. Now moving on, trying to get on top of this blob of Harpies and Charybdis. Bleak Swords are not going to do much against the self-regenerating Butchers, but they are indeed cleaning up all those Angor infantry, especially when all juiced up by the murderous prowess. On the far side there, Rakop's still fighting some cheap-ass Angor spears. Not great, not great. Like, it probably should just go and drop in and fight something else instead, like the Butchers of Kelkengard and a Fate of Buna on Bleak Swords. That's a weird choice. Probably spamming Spirit Leech against the Charybdis is the better choice, but either way, the Charybdis is getting slaughtered by all those Archer Fire and Butchers of Kelkengard, and also, more importantly, the Gore Bull himself coming in with those anti-large armor piercing. Recarva is diving down. Beast Slayer is active, boosting his damage and also bonus versus large. But that's not going to save the Charybdis here, who is getting overwhelmed. All those Archer Fire, the Angor Raiders are shooting in. And Kazarek One Eye is routing the Bleak Swords. Yes, they are pretty good at killing Angors and whatnot, but receiving a charge from Sandagors, their lack of armor and slightly less HP as an Elven infantry doesn't really help them in this case. Another Burning Hand roasting some Angor Raiders, but they're just Angors. You don't really care about them, as the focus is Recarve here, isolated and overwhelmed by a lot of Butchers of Kelkengard and Gorebull. Even the Brave Shaman can possibly try to fight him, and drop in some Spirit Leech as well. I'm too used to Soul Stealer in this matchup. I would just always expect to say Soul Stealer, but yeah, Spirit Leech on Recarve and charge in the Brave Shaman would be great. But right now, the Brave Shaman is taking a lot of damage, engaging the Witch Elves, and this is not great. He might just get Rampage and will be losing the ability to cast Spirit Leech. But either ways, his Spirit Leech has been popped on Recarve, draining his health, while the Gorebull and Butchers of Kelkengard are slowly falling from behind. Senegals are moving in, just charging him, preventing him from taking off and moving back into the skies, while on the far side there, I assume this is it's army losses. Bleak Swords getting overwhelmed by enemy units as well. And that is going to be it. That's the finals of today. Congratulations to Bevrat for winning this tournament, and that means he will be moving on from Red Ogre to Bone Ripper on Human Boys Discord. No longer able to participate in another new player tournament. Anyways, Koala Duck also showed some very promising strategies and tactics and micro there. Definitely looking forward to see him again in the future new player tournaments. I probably won't be casting them because Human Boy is going to be back, but still, it's going to be an interesting time to see him bringing in more innovative builds like the double Frostworm or Recarve. That is certainly a surprise here, but you kind of can see why Recarve is not the greatest choice among the Dark Elf Lords, because he simply doesn't have the healing available to other Dark Elf Lords with the Soul Stealers. But yeah, overall, the Dark Elf army didn't really do much here, getting wrecked by Ungor. The sheer numbers of Ungors and Senegals overwhelmed their rather lacking HP bar. And the Witch Elves also took a lot of damage. Okay, the Dark Riders did some meh damage as well. Simply got out-traded by Sentinels, who did a lot of damage, earning back all their own value and some more by wrecking the Dark Riders, chasing down routed units, and just recharging the rather expensive Dark Elf infantry, while their dirt cheap Ungor herds are just kind of hanging in there, using their bodies, their unit model counts to buy more time. And just to buy more time for the Senegal, the mobility to do the work here, while the Butchers, Gorebull here swarm the poor Charybdis. Yes, he has anti-large and leadership debuff, but that doesn't really work against something with regeneration, and Kazarek did some good damage, but just not great. It's not the greatest damage. The best lords for the Beastmen right now are definitely... the best lords for the... There are 3 best lords for the Beastmen right now. The Great Brave Shaman of Wild Magic, the Great Brave Shaman of Traderkin. Just like the Dark Elves only bringing Soul Stealer, the Beastmen only brings Traitorkin mostly these days. But in this matchup, I would usually expect to see Morgor the Shadowgave, because he has regeneration to counteract the direct damage coming in from the Dark Elf Soul Stealer. But this is not the case, I suppose. Instead, Kazarak is brought, and in a melee fight, he will activate his Dark Mail, so that makes sense, because the Dark Mail gives him 45% damage reduction against spell damage. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting build for sure. And congratulations to Bavrat for winning, and GG to both players, and thank you everyone for participating in this tournament. This is the end of the best of 3. I assume I'll be casting the replays from the tournaments now, which is sent in by Bavret for his best of 3 in the first round. But before that, I am gonna, okay, let me just quickly rename those files. But before that, let us just talk about the replay. Anyways, I will just talk about the adjustment I would make to the double wyvern build, double worm build, double frostworm build. Oh, actually, I need to catch up with the chat first. Could you zoom in on action from time to time? Sorry, yeah, I normally would just appreciate, like, personally as a player, I would appreciate looking at the stuff from top down just to see more action. But yeah, I'll try to zoom in on the action at some point, like when the things are more set. But yeah, thank you everyone for playing. Bavra, I like Kazarak because he's more mobile and he can chase some things off. Yes, he is indeed, and he also has some pretty interesting buffs and debuffs. If you Dragonborn, I felt like I was winning that. I don't know what happened. One thing I would say is that you sent Recarve way too far away, and it is not actually. He is not actually doing things he needs. He was not breaking enemy units. Like, he's doing that on the side with very, very weak and chaffy units, but that is not very. It is not really the deciding factor of the game. Instead, it would probably be better if Recarve using his buffs and debuffs to help the Charybdis against the swarm of self-healing angry cows. But yeah, let's go into the build I was talking about. Improvement of the double worm build. Yes, there is indeed. I do think that there are area for improvement for that build, and which is just throw in some familiar warriors. I'm really liking these guys in the current meta. They are really strong at breaching enemy front lines, and I'll show you what I mean. Like, we're still keeping the double frostworm build. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm keeping your biggest feature of your build. So yeah, we will have that. The bigger thing is that it needs some extra oomph to push through enemy front line. Like, Marauder champions with great weapons isn't great, honestly. This is a battle I played against Cool Umbrella yesterday, and you can see that I took inspiration from your design. We have a double frostworm, one on each flank. There are some Norscan warhounds at the back with poison, and to be fair, my opponent isn't bringing a box. Anyways, let's talk about the build. 4 Marauders in the front line, 4 Marauders with great weapons, 2 on each flank. At the back there, a single Shaman Sorcerer of Metal on foot, coming in with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. And then we have a Wolfric the Wanderer leading the army here, just hiding away, as the Organ Guns would be punishing anything that dares to get close. So yeah, just kind of hiding him in there. For my opponent here, the not box build Dwarfs, led by Cool Umbrella, a front line of Dwarf Warriors, a second line of Miners with blasting charges that can throw their explosives into enemy units when they're busy engaging the Dwarf Warriors, and at the back a ton of Thunders, 3 of them in fact supported by an Iron Drake and also Organ Gun, doing capable of doing a lot of damage against infantry and monsters alike, simply because they have great burst damage of 4 shots per volley per unit model. And then there are some Dwarf Warriors at the back here with miners trying to protect the flanks. And that's it. Leading the army, Floric Ironbrow with Rune of Speed and Rune of Wrath and Ruin. We'll be doing some fast forward here as my Frostworm ventured a little too close to the Thunders. Just gonna quickly back off while the organ guns trying to open up at the Familiar Warriors. But beware of the Familiar Warriors. They can tank missiles. They are just not taking much damage. Like, they are getting hit for sure. They're getting hit for sure, but they have 45% missile resistance right here. All thanks to their abilities. Anyways, Cool Umbrella trying to pull back some of their forces, but my charging Familiar Warriors are dashing in, attracting some of those miners with blasting charges, and some of those shots actually go into the Familiar Warriors instead of the Marauders. So with the Familiar Warriors absorbing those blasting charges, the Marauders are not taking as much damage, and with that extra HP, they are able to hold the line right now, just trying to tie down my opponent's units. And now the Frostworm are moving in, trying to get some breath attacks, but those breath attacks are, man, they are horrible. Just probably did more friendly fire on on my opponent, on my own units than actual damage. And probably would be more beneficial if I just blast them on the long beards who were temporarily overlapping with the miners with blasting charges. Anyways, as you can see here, with a bit of bolting support, yeah, one use has been done. I was able to thin out some of the Dwarf Warriors in front, and the Familiar Warriors are just holding firm. This one is an exception here, probably getting blasted by Iron Drake. So even with all those missile resistance, they are faltering, but the Thunders are now getting disrupted by the Frostworms. But the Frostworms are not holding, like, they're not staying in there for any longer, because they're just beelining straight for the Iron Drakes, tanking damage from the Thunders. They don't care about being shot by Thunders. They need to shut down the Iron Drakes. One of the best units to take down my monsters right now. And because of my opponent's mistakes, a little gap is exposed at the back line. The Norscan Warhounds are able to swarm the organ gun. And at this point, the Familiar Warriors, after punching down the Dwarf front line, they are able to now push through the miners, and the miners also getting blasted by Searing Dooms and whatnot. So eventually they got whittled down. Now the Familiar Warriors, still having over half leadership, having 45% missile resistance, are able to just march on to the Thunders. Now getting on top of the Thunders, silencing them and start beating them down. On the flanks there, because of my 8 Marauder infantry, I'm able to overwhelm my opponent's front line. Unfortunately, one of the Frostworm has been focused down by Thunders, but right now the Thunders are being dealt with. One of them is obliterated by a bit of a Frostworm attack. Now the Thunders at the back here blobbing up a little bit of Searing Doom will be punishing them, but my opponent kind of dodging it, and I'm also not having the greatest placement, just doing some minor damage, but I don't really need them to do the damage because the Marauder with great weapons can then pursue the Thunders and do the damage, while the Frostworm is also available to drop in. Right now the Familiar Warriors are moving on to the retreating Thunders, just keeping up with the Thunders. They have enough speed indeed, with 45 speed against the slow speed of the Thunders at 20 after debuffed by the Frostbite from the Frostworm. Another bolt attack, and the Thunders have been routed. Same goes for this one, who has been tied down by both Familiar Warriors and Wolfric the Wanderer. Now on the flanks there, the miners are all routing. There's still some blasting charges, but they are thrown into the Familiar Warriors instead of any Marauders, and did some friendly fire against the Thunders as well. Familiar Warriors with anti-infantry and armor piercing should be able to deal with these miners just fine, especially when Marauders are coming in to support, and even more Familiar Warriors are fighting. But they're kind of stuck on Dwarf Warriors, so they will be grinding out against a very healthy Dwarf unit. Another breath attack, this time on the Longbeards, who are slowly whittled down by the sheer numbers of Marauders. This time the blasting charges are doing a little bit better damage against the whittled down Marauders. And yeah, Dwarf Warriors are running low on health overall. On the far side, there are still some Dwarf Warriors fighting, but a quick terror out from the Frostworm will be seeing them off. There are still some Thunders firing, but I have some Hounds nearby. Okay, they're off all the way on the other side of the battlefield, so Wolfric, he himself will be jumping in to shut them down, while the Warhounds are chasing off the routed, tattered Thunders. Same goes for these Great Weapon Marauders, just making sure that the Thunders are not returning. At this point, I don't really need the Marauders to help me against any fights. Like, they are still fighting, and they have been fighting the whole time, so the entire Rage ability is fully charged up, having 10% physical resistance, 8 more attack, and 5 more melee attack, and 8 more leadership. They are indeed holding just fine, beating down the Longbeards with their 39 melee attack against their 38 melee defense. They can actually hit consistently now. And now on the far side there, Thunders once again tied down by Wolfric. Even the Shaman Sorcerer is now moving on to fight the Dwarf Warriors. And yeah, the Familiars have proved themselves to be really valuable in just pushing through the Dwarf Warrior frontline and marching on to the Thunders and shutting them down. You're not only shutting down Thunders with just your Wyvern, with your Frost Worms, but also your monstrous infantry here. Against a box build like Bavret's build, where there's only one layer of defenses, the Familiars can easily breach through the first defenses and get on top of the Nyx with a bit of forced pathing as well. So the Dwarf frontline, they're having a rather thin box, would just eventually get overwhelmed by the Searing Doom, whittling down their front line and whatnot. But yeah, this is why Familiars are so good with Plague of Rust and Hunter of Champions. Everything is just stacked on top of Thoric right now. He has 0 melee, he has 10 melee defense, 0 armor, and his HP is just dropping rapidly. With Wolfric having Sword of Torgold and Fight or Die, boosting his damage output, and Thoric Ironbrow is soon to be destroyed. Like, even the Familiar Warriors are dishing out massive damage, getting 220 kills and 1,700 gold worth of damage value so far. This is against Dwarf, so 200 kills on a monstrous infantry is actually very impressive. And with that, all the units are slowly routing. Another Searing Doom whittled down the Dwarf Warriors. On the far side there, some more miners are terror routed by the Frostworm, who is barely clinging on to his remaining HP. Thoric will be routed, and that's going to be army losses. I was considering that, but thought it wouldn't do that well. It depends. Like, Familiar Warriors itself, like, they don't have the greatest melee stats. That's why you pair them with Wolfric the Wonder or any like, or honestly any Norscan Lord. You have the Norscan Lords to support them, just so the Norscan Lords can provide that fight or die buff, which is very key for them to breach the front line there because of the extra 24 melee attack, helping them to punch more consistently into their opponents and helping them get through the enemy front line faster and get on top of the fragile missile back line. You can see that the Frostworms didn't really do that much. Most of the work were done by the Familiar Warriors, not this one. This one got routed earlier due to the Iron Drakes, but the other one pushed through the enemy front line and got on top of the Thunders. And at the same time, this allows the rest of the Marauders to swarm the Dwarfs, who have slightly less melee units to hold the fight, because a lot of them are just kind of got worked down by a combination of melee attacks and area of effect damaging abilities and spells. Wolfric did some good damage as well, just nuking Thoric Ironbrow with that armor debuff combo, which is something I really appreciate Mr. Teufel for really appreciate from Mr. Teufel for just suggesting that. Bavret, oh yeah, by the way, Lich, I deployed the Thunders as a box because they can turn easy. Yeah, I noticed that, but that also opened them up very easy for like breath attacks, like the Frost Worms. Dragonborn, if I had Pit of Shades, which I almost did, those would be dead Thunders. You don't want Pit of Shades against Dwarfs. I mean, Pit of Shades against Dwarfs is good and all, but I do think that Searing Doom would be a better choice. And yeah, if you had Searing Doom, they would be a lot more effective in just, like, they are just more cost effective as a spell. They don't have as much burst damage, but they are very cost effective in blasting down armored infantry in general. True, but I had enough Thunders. Okay, let's count. We had, if I brought my build of 2 Frostworms, and you had your 5 Thunders. Theoretically, I can nuke 1 Thunder with each of your with each of the breath attacks. And okay, assuming I just drop in and nuke 2 thunders with breath attacks and melee attacks. You have 3 thunders to shoot, right? But then a good micro means that like a proper micro with those monstrous units are not to just let them stay in a fight. You need to move them between units, jumping around, just so they can constantly disrupt different units. Like you don't keep them staying in a fight. Instead, you move them hopping between different units, just so that it knocks down one unit, disrupts them, and move on to the next one, disrupt the other one. By the time they move on to the next unit, the first disrupted unit wouldn't be immediately shooting just yet. Their units will be knocked down. They will be trying to reform ranks before they actually start aiming again and start shooting. So you knock over the second unit, but then you immediately move your dragon back to the first unit you knocked down, and you just constantly cycle charge between different units, ping-ponging between them to keep them constantly silenced. And that's how you keep more than one unit of missiles silenced at the same time. And on top of that, I have my Familiar Warriors and Searing Doom to continuously disrupt your thunders. It would have been, like, I wouldn't say I have a 100% chance on winning, but I'm confident in the fight. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how it's gonna I don't know how it's gonna perform unless we actually fight against each other, but we shall see. Anyways, oh no, this is Bavret channeled his inner strat games. Okay, so we have Bavret coming in with Beastmen and Otoya Yajiri coming in with the Lizardmen. Both going for super meta picks, but it seems there's one more meta than the other, and we shall see in a quick hurry. Now, these are played in the first round of the new player tournament, so feel free to just check these things, check these battles out. But yeah, the tournament itself has ended. But we're just casting replays in general. Yep. So, army builds. We have a front line of Angor Spears backed up by 3 Angor Raiders, 2 Harpies in the skies, and 2 Gorgons with a Jabber Slive, a Lore of Death, Brave Shaman, and a Morgor the Shadowgate. For why do you have 2 spellcasters? Morgor the Shadowgate. Oh right, yeah, he's not Malagor the Dark Omen. Okay, so 1 spellcaster, for the Chaos Spawn Summon and self heals. Anyways, on the other side, Lizardmen, a whole line of Skink Cohorts backed up by some Skink Javis, more Skink Javis, and 4 Feral Cold ones. Now this attack is a bit disjointed, I do think, as there is nothing to disrupt the Angor Raiders right now. Excuse me for a sec. Anyways, on the side there, Lord Mazamundi coming in with a Bastillodon with Wrath Crystal, trying to heal up the Shredder as much as possible, but the Shredder might just meet its match, because there are 2 anti-large armor-piercing single entities here. The ruination of cities, nuking their own units, as well as the Angor Spear herds. But yeah. Anyways, with 3 armor-piercing single entities, 2 of them with anti-large and great weapon strength, the Shredder is getting wrecked. The Shredder is getting wrecked. A shield of the old ones is dumped in here, and the Shredder needs a lot of healing right now, immediately. One of the Gorgon is getting hit hard, but something has to be done to nuke out one of the Beastmen single entities. But there's a lot of single entity fighting in here, just trying to beat each one. Wait, shit. Wait, this is Bavrat. Remember, your build was illegal in this battle. You have 5 single entities. You only should have 4. You shouldn't have 5 single entities. Anyways, the battle happened already. Nobody raised an issue. We can't have a rematch. Anyways, Feroco ones swarming the other line. The Angor Spears are holding though with the anti-large, and they're actually beating back the Skink Cohorts. But right now, the Shred of Lustria is getting beaten up by so many Gorgons, and yeah. The Chaos Spawns are also summoned into the fray here to just hold on to this fight, providing more bodies for the Beastmen to absorb hits and like swarm the enemy units. And with the overwhelming force of Gorgons, one of them at half health, one of them almost full health, the Shredder is actually getting beaten up pretty well. But yeah, like the Shredder is getting wrecked hard. The Gorgon is getting beaten up. Yeah. Morgar the Shadow Gave is still holding firm. But yeah, Morgar the Shadow Gave is a tanky unit in general. He's a Footlord having decent melee defense. He is holding firm, not taking too much damage with his regeneration, while the Shredder of Lustria has been isolated and beaten down. This is a build like invented and promoted by Strat Games, so that's why I am saying this is Bavret channeling his inner Strat Games. As you can see here, the Skinks eventually managed to beat down most of the Ungors, but the single entities are just too much for the Lizardmen to deal with. So we can just basically fast forward right now, as the Shredder is almost done for, and as soon as he's done for, it's basically game for the Lizardmen here. Like, it's still struggling to actually kill off any of those Gorgons who have their own passive healing of 0.2% per second, and that's a lot of healing coming in for a unit that has over 10k HP maximum. So yeah, Fate of Buna for some reason on top of the Skink Core, not the greatest use of Fate of Buna. Instead, you probably want to use it on Mazdamundi or the Bastiladon, but either ways, that's not going to matter too much, as the double Gargon will be beating up Mazdamundi here. Kaelin, I should have used the Shredder to beat up the other units, I think. Yeah, you separating the Shredder with other units was a fatal mistake. Not having any units to support each other. Like, having... One thing that Bavret did great is that all the Gorgons and the Jabberslave have been fighting side by side. They have the support of each other, they're beating down the same unit at the same time, and basically doing 3v1s in general. And yeah, Jabberslave just beat down, getting 6k worth of damage value against the Shredder, who healed up to its full healing cap, and then beat down Mazdamundi, and yeah, they carry the game with the help of the Jabberslave and some Spirit Leeches and Fate of Buna and all that. So not much to talk about. It's just literally the Gorgons, double Gorgons winning the game. I do hope that the Fruit Rules Committee eventually put the double Gorgons into super weapons, because I don't want to see them. Really, they need to stop appearing. Like, god damn it, we don't need double Gorgons all the time. But yeah, on the other side here, the Gorgons really beat down the Shredder, although the Shredder still hit back hard. 3k worth of damage value, earning back its worth. Mazdamundi not so much, fighting Morgar the Shadow Gave and whatnot. But yeah, the rest of the army didn't do that much. The Skin Cohorts trade well against the Ungor herds, but with the double Gorgon, it's hard for Skinkies to carry the game. So next battle, I mean, we are all spoiled so far. Otoya Yajiri. Otoya Yajiri. Is that how you pronounce that, your name? Otoya Yajiri. That has to be a Japanese name, right? Anyways, Bavret going for Bretonnia. Oof. Yeah, Brett OP. DGJ is double Gorgon, Jabberslave is OP. Yep, indeed. Okay. Army builds. Bavret going for a full front line of men-at-arms with shields, men-at-arms with shields, ton of men-at-arms with shields, and some of them with spears as well. And then on the flank there, Grail Knights in lance formation. They will run over anything, however they want, except monsters, infantry, and cavalry, because they are Grail Chariots, not Grail Knights. Grail Chariots. Peasant bows at the back there, more lance formation this time, Knights of the Lion-Hearted and the Companions of Canal, some very elite anti-large cavalry. As for the Dark Elves, a front line of Dread Spears, second line of Dark Shards, which will get outshot by the Peasant bows because they're outranged. And then further back, more Dread Spears and some Sisters of Singing Doom, Black God of Nagaron, double Dark Shards, and some Colt 1 Dread Knights. Colt 1 Dread Knights, okay. That's an interesting pick. I wouldn't recommend using them because they don't have anti-large. They have slightly better stats, but you don't really need that better stats against Bretonian cavalry. Like, you need those anti-large, if anything, against Grail cavalry. But yeah, Dark Shards trying to trade against Peasant Bows. Devastating, grave mistake. You will never out-trade a Peasant Bow. No missile infantry will out-trade a Peasant Bow. Because they're so dirt cheap and they have very cost-efficient missile strength. And you can see that the Dark Shards are already on the verge of routing, while the Bretonnians are just sitting back and shooting. Dark Shards are still trying to fire at the men-at-arms with shields, not the greatest use of their ammo, but it's not like they have better stuff to shoot at. The Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic should use one of its breath attack on the companions, but to kill off the unit models, but it seems that it just breath attacks some of the men-at-arms. Another mistake, I would say. Sorry, man. Sorry, Otoya, or sorry, Kaelin, basically some random archery terms, Japanese IDD. Okay, fair dues. But yeah. Kaelin, sorry for the criticism, but like I do think that there's a lot of room for improvement here. Like the breath attacks could have been on the companions of Canal or the peasant bows, and yeah, the Dread Knights are moving in, and the companions are more than willing to take this fight. They have the melee stats and the healing to just beat down the Koan Dread Knights, even in a 1 versus 2 fight. A little bit of Doom Bolt, okay. So there's Doombolt and the Black Horror scroll and Soul Stealer. Okay, this is not your typical. Oh, and the Lord of Dark Magic passive. This is not your typical Dark Elf Lord for sure. But because of that, a lot of funds are invested into elsewhere instead of more width. So, oh, there are some Black Gods of Nagaron in the mix. Okay. But they are probably the best bet for the Dark Elves to deal with the Bretonnian cavalry. But the Grail Knights are still fully untouched. They have not seen any action so far. Fully fresh, not that they care about vigor level with their perfect vigor, but yeah, they haven't seen any action yet, and will. Oh, this is gonna be painful. The Grail Knights are gonna roll through this whole blob of infantry, no problems whatsoever. Just look at this. The Grail Chariots rolling through this. Oh, the Dread Spears just ran down by this single charge, and a quarter of their HP gone. Soul Stealer finally dropped into the fray here, but not covering, actually covering the Grail Knights. And yeah, hitting a lot of stuff here, but the Grail Knights doesn't care. They have the damage resistance of 15% from the Blessing of the Lady, and they have healing coming in, so they don't really care. Battle Pilgrims are fighting against Dread Spears, and this is a trait they are willing to fight. And the Peasant Bows are shooting into the fray as well. Their damage isn't the greatest, but against Sister of Saint Doom, their lack of armor piercing doesn't matter. And against the Koan Dread Knights, their sheer volume of firepower and poison would be more than enough to work them down. And yeah, Albrecht of Bordeloo leading the army. He didn't bring his trident, just coming in for that bonus versus large with the Brit of Bordeloo. I have been seeing a lot of Bordeloo so far. Like, he has been a much more popular lord these days for some reason. Not sure why, but I guess people discover that he is actually decent. But yeah, with the Lord of Life support, he is a powerful duelist for sure, especially with Bray of Bordeloo providing additional bonus versus large. Anyways, Peasant Archers firing into the fray here, whittling down everything in this blob. Some Dark Elves have regrouped, but there's nothing to protect them. Anything that just kind of move on to them. Ooh, a very unfortunate breath attack here, blocked by the tree, so doing no damage whatsoever. Well. This is a very unfortunate use of breath attack from Kaelin or Otoya. Anyways, Dark Shards still firing. Black Gods of Nagaron holding firm. Not that they're gonna hold on any longer, because Companions of Canal with the armor piercing charging in. Grail Knights. Wait, how the hell did the Grail Knights got so weak? Did they actually got cut down by the Black Gods of Nagaron? Or get attacked by something? That makes no sense. Okay, they probably just got stuck in melee fight for too long and just got cut down by Black Gods. I'll go over that explanation. But either ways, that is more than... They only have 11 unit models left, but that's more than enough for them to run down some Dark Shards. Companions of Canal doing the same thing. Black Gods of Nagaron still fighting, but they're getting slowly whittled down by archer fire and the sheer number of peasants. Dark Shards cannot fight back against the freaking Grail Cavalry, man. Like, what do you expect? It's the Grail Cavalry. We need to... we'll rewatch this battle again, just to check out the
just to see how the Grail Cavalry died. And Supreme Sorceress got caught by Outbreak the Borderloo, and with that anti-large attacks, he slaughtered the poor Dark Sorceress. The Mage of Life, the Damsel of Life provided a lot of healing to top up Outbreak's health, and that's gonna be army losses. And GG to all the players in this battle. Yeah, GG to all the players in the tournament, and thank you for playing in this new player tournament fights. I'm only taking over for this week, so Human Boy is probably gonna return next week. I'll be hosting another tournament as well, the Wheel of Fortune. Well, I'm not hosting it. Rainy Frog is actually the one hosting it. He is it's gonna be a funny meme. Okay, let me just get the link and post it here. I'll be casting the tournament live, so be sure to subscribe and check it out. I'll be putting it on the Discord if you're interested. Check it out. Dragonborn, a little tip: put your range and melee on the same hotkey so that when you move them up, they don't stack on top of each other. You can put them in a control group. So basically, press Control G, and you'll group them into like a controlled group where their formations will be fixed. So if you move up, you can just move your, like if you select the entire group and move the entire group up, it'll be moving in that same locked formation. But yeah. Also, yeah, a lot of blobbing. Dragonborn, normally he is paired with Hippogriff Knight, which is the brutal combo. Yes, indeed he is. He can provide a lot of that anti-large to the Hippogriffs, who doesn't have anti-large themselves. Anyways, let's have a look at the performances. Grail Knights, not earning their money yet, but they are still earning a lot of value. Companions of Canal getting close to their value. And Peasant Archers doing a lot of work today. Half carrying the game alongside Borderloo and Elite Cavalry. Peasant Infantry not so much. They got out-traded by a whole lot of Dark Elves, and yeah, they kind of was just there to buy time. Now the Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic, 2,000 kills, did a lot of damage for some reason, and 2,000 damage, 263 kills, did a lot of damage with the Doom Bolt, I think, and the Scroll, and then the Dread Knights not doing much damage. They're just kind of a mediocre cavalry. Like, a lot of the Cohen cavalry are just lackluster, unless they're fighting the Empire cavalry, then they're doing good. But yeah, other than that, they're just kind of lackluster, with the lack of stats, I think. But yeah, the rest of the infantry not so much. I do think that you shouldn't be bringing that many Dark Shards against the Bretonnians. They're just gonna get shot up by peasant bows. So yeah, Dread Spears to some meh damage. So yeah, that's it. GG to all the players. Let's just quickly go back and see how Bavret got his Grail Knights killed. And then we'll be ending the stream. Okay. Alrighty, let's go. We go on fast forward now. It's almost. We need to follow the Grail Knights. Let me just quickly pick up the chat. Meme Tourney, funny meme. I should share it to XMT and QSA. Yep, that would be great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Would be fun to see more players joining. GG's Dread Knights are amazing. Sipa, no. God damn it, Sipa. Why you have such hot takes? Anyways, no. Just no. Dread Knights is just a big no. No. I refuse to believe they're good. Oh, this is where the scroll happened, and it did some good damage to the men-at-arms with shields, but just not doing much damage in general. Like it's used as kind of a weird spot. A lot of value was going into that one man at arms. Instead, they should have been just blasting at the companions and trying to take down some unit models, I believe. Wait, so where the Grail Cav at? Yeah, they have been just kind of like stuck there. Held in reserve, that's what we say. We don't call it forgetting. It's held in tactical reserve. Always. Okay, so the Grail Knights are charging in. That's when we first saw them. And also, that's when we last saw them before they got nuked for some reason. Oh, they went into charge against the Quan Knights. Got hit by Soul Stealer. Okay, this is actually where we last seen them. And they're taking some damage back. Oh yeah, they got stuck among a bunch of Black Gods of Nagaron. And got hit by Soul Stealer and whatnot. And Jet Spears. And they're just taking damage. Like, a lot of damage too. Getting... Oh, okay. Okay, fine. The Quan Dread Knights are doing some good damage now. Swarming the Grail Knights. But that is because there are 2 units of Dread Knights on top of a single unit of Grail Knights. That's the only reason. It has to be. Oh, okay, fine. They also are buffed up by the damage boost from the Murderous Prowess. Yeah. Got a little bit more damage done, also being debuffed by the Madness of Cain, having less melee defense, making them even more susceptible to melee damage. Yeah. Yeah, Grail Knights, as you can see here, that their melee defense is down to 24 because they're debuffed by the Madness of Cain and debuffed by their own Lance Formation, allowing the Dread Knights to trade a lot more cost effective against them. But in general, like, Dread Knights wouldn't do that well. And same goes for Dread Spears and whatnot. So they're taking a lot of damage, getting stuck in melee for too long, way too long. And that's why they died. But yeah, that's it. See, but why you sim for Dread Knights instead? Yeah, indeed. Grail Knights got killed by Black God. Because they are amazing, you just can't feed them into spears and massive arrow fire. You need Buna against Grail Knight, and Helebron or Malice against Brett. I don't know. I feel like Soul Stealer would be enough, honestly. But I don't know. Helebron, Helebron though, that is an interesting choice. Like, Helebron is an interesting choice, I would agree. They can both wreck any Bretonnian Lord, but they don't have that kind of tankiness, I guess, to survive against Grail Knights or whatnot. But yeah, we shall see how the meta evolves. For now, it's gonna be the end of this. Helebron on a chariot beats any Bretonnian Lord 1-on-1. Sure. Anyways, for now, that's gonna be the end of the stream. Thank you everyone for participating in this new player tournament. Human Boy SS will be resuming his Warhammer endeavors soon, and I will be hosting the tournament tomorrow. Check out the pinned message, if you will. That is going to be the meme tournament tomorrow. Other than that, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you all had fun with the stream, and I'll see you in the next one, which is probably next day, tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and see ya. Bye.